Well, I'm gonna be completely honest. I wasn't planning on streaming for a while today, but I ended up streaming because chaos is ensuing. Yesterday I couldn't stream because I was too busy investigating the after effects of Hurricane Florence in South Carolina. Now, this is happening. Andrew's weather predictions. What's up, Colin? What's up, Brandon? What's up? Canadian Chaser, sup? Your dog, what's up? Jay, hello. Stewie Griffin, what's up? Carpaccio, what's up? Let's just might as well get into it because we have 4 different tornado warnings right now. I'm telling you guys, chaos is actually ensuing. Kylie, what's up? Nice to see that someone from outside of the country is tuning in. So thank you for being on the stream. Hash Brown, what's up? Let's get into the tornado warnings because there's so many. So many. So with that being said, tornado warning for Cameron Parish, and that's going to be in effect until 6:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Just by taking a look at the actual reflectivity, as soon as my Epic Pen shows up, because, you know, that's kind of necessary. I kind of need this. Where did it go? There it is. You can kind of see there's a little outflow boundary right here, and that's what's kind of stirring this little storm up. So if I were to take a look at where the actual rotation would be, it would be right within this general vicinity. I was taking a look at the delta velocity of the storm earlier, and it was up to 84 knots, which is right around 90, a little bit above 90 miles per hour. So it's definitely churning about. And radar data just wants to die right there. So I guess we'll figure that out. Hannah, what's up? Thanos, you haven't changed your name since, so Thanos, what's up? He's going to be the first to super chat. How about no? I don't plan this stream being extraordinarily long. I'm going to be completely honest. I want to go back to watching anime. But chaos decided to ensue. So here I am. This should be impacting the Holly Beach area relatively soon. So if you know anyone who lives along the coast on State Route 27 near Holly Beach and Cameron, you need to go ahead and tell those people to just go ahead and take their precautions because you've got a tornado warned storm with the possible tornado with this as well. It could have had a brief touchdown. I don't doubt if this is tornadic whatsoever. So just treat it as if it's on the ground. Just go ahead and take your precautions. Let's go over here to this tornado warning. This is for Beauregard and Calciu Parish, and this is in effect until 6:30 as well. Well, it was. The other storms were, but anyways, this is going to be in effect until 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Just on reflectivity presentation, there honestly isn't a lot to look at. I don't see anything on here. And the velocities show that there really isn't a lot. Yeah, it does seem as if the storm is kind of weakened a bit. So you can kind of see how the greens are moving towards, the reds are moving away. Right in the middle is where the rotation could have been. If we loop this out, you can kind of see how that's kind of died pretty much so, where you still have a little bit of the greens and you still have a little bit of the grays. So there is some rotation just to the west of Oretta, but it kind of has died out a bit. I would still treat this storm as if it had a tornado. I mean, tornado warnings are for just the possibility of tornadoes in general. So people near Orietta and DeQuincy need to go ahead and take their precautions. Let's go over to Illinois. There's a tornado warning for Lawrence County. This is actually impacting the town of Lawrenceville, and this will be in effect until 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. You can see along the line here a pretty impressive kink right within here, the inflow notch, quite visible on reflectivity. The velocities show that isn't quite as strong as I would have anticipated it to be, but maybe if I were just to see what it was like prior to the actual tornado warning, then I might be able to vouch for it. I don't see anything in particular. I think it was just basically the opportunity of this storm to form. So I guess we will have to see. But this will be impacting the town of Lawrenceville as we speak, and it'll be heading off towards Pinkstaff, the Russellville area, at right around State Route 33. So you guys need to go ahead and also take your precautions. Anywhere along the line here could possibly see tornadoes and stuff like that. So just want to let you all know that the tornado risk is pretty widespread. That wasn't the main reason why I was streaming today. I did say on my my community post, I said that I was going to be streaming today to update you all on Tropical Storm Arthur and whether or not that was going to be impacting North Carolina. And so, yeah, we're going to do that. But let's talk about severe weather aspect while we're on this topic. Slight risk issued for Illinois and Indiana and parts of Kentucky. But the marginal goes all the way down into Missouri. Or not Missouri. Yeah, it goes into Missouri, Tennessee, a little part of Arkansas, down into Mississippi. Should honestly be extended into Louisiana, but that's kind of... Am I watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? No, I am actually watching Showman Sample at the moment. I want to finish this because it's... I want to know what happens. Quite honestly. So, it is what it is. So yeah. Marginal extends all the way even into Ohio and parts of Pennsylvania near Erie, and then also for southern parts of Michigan too. So that's something that you guys need to go ahead and consider when it comes to these storms. Happy birthday, exclusive ratings. Happy birthday. So no tornadoes tonight. There already has been a tornado on the tornado today, so good possibility. There's also this marginal out in the middle of nowhere and this marginal up in the northwest. So it needs to, need to just kind of, why? What happened? Well, anyways, I've got no clue. Wait a second. I just came to a stunning revelation. Okay, I think I might have seen that anime of where that girl is from specifically. I think. I didn't even realize it was my background until I actually just recently watched the anime. What tropical storm? You live in North Carolina. Literally, the only thing on the news is Corona. Yeah! You guys got some big boy coming your way. Look at this dude. He's having a whale of a time. Tropical Storm Arthur, the first storm of the year. And it'll be quite possibly buzzsawing through the side of the, what's-his-face? The Outer Banks. So it's just kind of interesting. Tomorrow's severe weather threat. I don't think there's a big severe weather threat for tomorrow. I haven't paid attention, to be honest. But, that's subject to change. It doesn't seem as if there's a bunch of stuff going forward tomorrow. But, Are you all still in lockdown? Kinda. I've been kind of breaking the lockdown rules. Oh, sorry, government. Time for me to be arrested. But yeah, I've just been breaking those rules every now and then. So, it is what it is. I do want to discuss about the National Hurricane Center and what all they found recently. But, we'll get to that in a bit. So let's go through what all we could be seeing today when it comes to severe weather. We'll go from the Ohio Valley down into deep south. So you can see how the line starts to form according to the Euro. Yeah, this is the latest model. Line starts to form and then it pushes off. Actually continues to form more lines as it pushes off into tomorrow and even into Tuesday. So really just repetitive action of a slow moving boundary moving towards the east. Now take a look at south central. Just focus on this area, please. You can see how the line continues to move through and then it dissipates before regaining strength. You can't really see that on screen. And actually, what I might want to do is I might want to just use Southeast US for this. Probably a better idea. So you can kind of see the line dissipates and then forms a new line of storms as it pushes through into later parts of Monday. So it's one of those things where repetitive repetitive severe weather, marginal severe weather events could occur, and you could have possibly some gusty winds. Not really as much hail. As a matter of fact, I don't really anticipate a lot of hail in all of this, and maybe a tornado or two like we are seeing today. Yeah, it's really interesting. Roblox Condo Hunter, what's up? Theresa, what's up? Georgia's already reopened. Sorry, kids. Lamau. See, my area of Pennsylvania is still like in the red, so like we're not supposed to go outside, but we are. So yeah, these storms will probably just continue to go on through. If I were to take a look at other models to help me differentiate between what all we could be seeing, some sporadic cells that could be forming in Mississippi relatively soon. Not a bad chance of actually getting some tornadic activity, but you know, next to none. But anything above a normal chance is really something that you got to keep in mind. One thing that I do want to check real quick. Ohio Valley. What does the NAM say on all this? NAM says discrete cells forming into a line, which kind of is what it did. So that's really interesting. There isn't really a lot of discrete cells out in front of this line right now, which means that it's just more or less just going to be a gusty wind threat for Illinois and Indiana. But down in Louisiana, you could see some discrete cells, small top cells that could be doing stuff. And actually, we just got a new tornado warning here. So tornado warning, let's actually just copy and paste this. Boom. Got that. So yep, we got a tornado warning for I think people said it was Rapides instead of Rapides. So Rapides Parish in Louisiana, and that will be in effect until 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I actually can't get a radar image on this. There we go. We finally got something. As you can see in the velocities, the greens are moving towards, the reds are moving away. Right in the middle is where the rotation would be. So as you can, as this goes down to the south and east, let me see if I can get a track for you all. This will be heading off just to the west of the Woodworth area, heading eventually across US 165 near the State Route 112 area near Forest Hill. So if you guys know anyone who lives over there, or if you live in these areas just south of Alexandria, you're gonna want to tell those people to go ahead, take their precautions, get underground or get into the lowest innermost part of your building, particularly a bathroom or a closet with no windows, so you can put as many walls between yourself and the actual tornado as possible. So as I said, this is a tornado warning for Rapides Parish. People were telling me that that's how it's pronounced in prior streams. So Rapides, if not, it's Rapides. I've got no clue. If you live over in those areas, you're going to need to go ahead and take your precautions. The cell all the way down that had the tornado warning near Cameron and Holly Beach actually has the report of a tornado now. So there's another one over there. There's more tornado warnings across the board in all sorts of places. So it's really one of those things where the people need to just go ahead and take their precautions. Let's see. So I'll just put the active warning box over here on the side for now. What weather will South Carolina get Monday? Monday we'll get some sporadic, just some sporadic thunderstorms with wind and a possible tornado. I probably won't be streaming though, I'm going to be completely honest. But anyways, I'm going to continue to pay attention to my little warning box over here. But at the same time, we're going to talk about Tropical Storm Arthur and what that might do to the actual okay, so it's Rapides. Good. All right, so I got it right the first time for this stream, so not bad. we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Arthur and the potential impacts. So you can kind of see there's already tropical storm warnings that have been issued for the coast of North Carolina, around the Outer Banks and stuff like that. The track, according to the National Hurricane Center, says that it actually has the opportunity to buzz the side of the Outer Banks and then shift more to a subtropical storm heading off towards Bermuda. As of right now, it does have 45 mile per hour winds as its maximum sustained winds, with a pressure of 1,002 millibars, and it's moving northeast at 9 miles per hour. So if it were to continue to move along that track, which I'm assuming is up the Gulf Stream, it'll quite possibly buzz the side of North Carolina. So that is something that people need to keep in mind. I do want to check something. There is going to be a new report, or a new advisory, I should say, on Arthur within the next 37 minutes. So I'll be on for that long, and then I'll probably go off because I do want to finish up. As I said, I wasn't planning on streaming for a while today, so we got that much going on. But I do want to take a look and see, are they going to be putting out another plane? And if they're not, then next intermediate advisory is at 8, and the next complete is at 11. So they do complete advisories every 6 hours. They do intermediates every 3. That makes sense. Let's take a look at what the models say on where this thing's going to go. Let's take a look at the Euro first off. Try and see specifically as to where this will go. Let's see. Actually, let's just do the national, honestly. We could do tropical tidbits, actually. I'm more comfortable with tropical tidbits for hurricane stuff. So let's take a look and see what the GFS says about Arthur here. And as of right now, Arthur seems to be having a whale of a time, according to the GFS. When it comes to the track, it does seem as if it does intensify a bit more, probably to a 50 or 55 mile an hour storm as it continues to move closer and closer towards the Outer Banks. So, it really depends upon not only the intensity, but how close it gets to North Carolina. Now, an unknown hidden risk, if you will, that people don't really think about all too much is the rip currents. And I know you're not allowed typically to be on beaches anyways, but for the people who do feel bold and stuff like that, probably not a good idea to go out on the beaches for quite some time, maybe for the next 5 days due to the storm. So rip current risks all the way across the board, even up the East Coast. You can probably see some rip current risks all over. But, as of right now, there isn't really a lot too much when it comes to impacts. Now, one thing that I will say is that for rain, it isn't really going to be that much of an issue. It typically wasn't that much of an issue to begin with, but still one of those things where you could get rain in upwards of almost 4 inches in some spots. But even then, that's just nothing compared to past days, just days in the past where you guys have had immense rainfall and stuff like that. So not probably too much of a concern for you all, but at the same time, it's one thing to keep in mind as that moves further north. So I believe the major risk for these storms will probably be either localized flooding due to the tide, just all sorts of stuff in general, but it's mainly going to be localized flooding. And if you're out trying to do whatever shenanigans in the ocean, rip currents are a major risk. God, I'm forgetting that one word. That one word that is so... It's used so often during tropical systems. God, it's not coming to my brain. I'll think about it, but it is what it is. Yeah, GFS says that it's having a whale of a time. Let's take a look at the CMC. CMC is kind of meh when it comes to this stuff, but you know what? It's having a whale of a time. Do you know about the cyclones in Far East? Do you have any info on it, please? I would like to know what I think. Yeah, I'll take a look at the stuff around England and stuff like that, if I really feel like it's necessary. But yep, I'll definitely take a look and see what all is happening over there. As of Arthur with the CMC model, it seems as if rain starts to actually wrap around and it starts to form a decent eye wall as it gets towards the Outer Banks. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Yeah, I can't think of it. I really can't think of it. I can't think of the word. This is the one time where I usually say it all the time when it comes to hurricanes. But nope, can't think of it. My brain just wants to die. It honestly wants to. Chat, you can help me out. It's flooding, and it has to do with the tide. Boom. You guys are smart enough. I believe in you all. I'm going to be completely honest. Me writing my script has fried my brain, but it's hilarious as hell. For the new video that I'll be coming out, which, by the way, I'll be putting in some sneak peeks every now and then, but I just want to say I'm doing a recorded video with an actual script, and it'll be kind of funny. But it's also fried my brain to the point where I'm just like, eh. So yeah, it seems as if it just kind of buzzes off the side of North Carolina, and then it makes its curl up and around. It does some more loop-de-loops. So yeah, there's that, and then the H-Mon. We are going to want to take a look at the H-Mon to see what that has something to do. It does seem as if as it gets closer, it might actually make a possible landfall as it gets closer to the Outer Banks, but no. Storm Surge! Oh my god! There it is! For FFS, the one time I can't actually think of it. This is why I have you guys around. I told you all I wasn't going to be streaming for a while, and it's fried my brain. Today is not the day for me to be like streaming for an elongated part of time, which is the reason why as soon as it's 8, it's going to probably be put down after the analysis of Tropical Storm Arthur. But speaking of which, I'm actually curious to see they have a Hurricane Hunter going into Arthur right now, which is really interesting. So, you know, it's kind of just doing its own little thing. Purge. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the video that I am recording and stuff like that, I literally say viewers' discretion is advised in the beginning, but it's not the way that you think it is. Like, I'm cursing in that video, mainly because it's so hard to stay in character while I live stream. But at the same time, I don't want to make it seem like I'm extremely unprofessional. And I also want people to enjoy this without them thinking that I'm just like, my second language is, cursing. So, where's a hurricane? Right now, there isn't a hurricane. It's a tropical storm, but it's just off the coast of South Carolina and Georgia. And it's heading towards North Carolina. The aircraft reconnaissance team, the Air Force 305, heading into Arthur. There's actually a third mission, which I want to know what the third mission was. I've only seen the first two. Oh well. I haven't been trained when it comes to looking in soundings. I'm going to do research on that as it continues to get closer towards hurricane season. So, I'm really going to pay attention to this because I just hopped on the tropical boat last year. And I thought I did pretty good forecasting, but I never exactly knew what exactly was happening live. Well, I did, but I didn't. So it just it is what it is. I can tell from here. Obviously, this is pressure in millibars. So there's that, and then so this is the pressure, and then this is the altitude. So the altitude, you're moving up and down, and obviously they were pretty low to the ground, to the ocean. Now they're moving high as a kite. So that's I know enough about that. Am I only looking at the tropical storm like everything? I was looking at the tornado warnings earlier, but the tornado warnings have kind of subsided a bit. There's still that one tornado warning for Rapides County in Louisiana, which will be in effect until the 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And as I said, there was the risks earlier for tornadoes and hail. Not hail, wind. No hail, so. When will Arthur hit North Carolina? So the timing of Arthur getting towards North Carolina will be probably around midday Monday. Midday Monday is when that'll be getting towards the coast. And I might possibly do a live stream of live analysis on Arthur. I might, depending upon how close it gets towards the coast. I also need to take a look and see what radar stations are around there, because I don't want to be looking at, actually, let's take a look at that now. Okay, Morehead City is actually really close. I could potentially do a stream. I could potentially do one. But there's Arthur right there, guys. You can kind of see the dude having a whale of a time. He's definitely got his own he's got his own band. He's got another outer band. He's having a whale of a time. Allow him to do whatever he wants. Why is there a slight risk for day 4? Okay, so for day 4, there's actually a boundary that pushes through, and you can actually see that on day 3. They have it on day 3. The little marginal dude up here. They even have a little marginal dude up in Montana tomorrow, but you can kind of see how it slowly progresses over towards the Dakotas, and then they have the 15% right there. But the reason why they make it a 15%, which would be a slight risk, is mainly because of how it actually protrudes itself and pushes off. So there's the low right here. The low kind of just curls around as a typical low does, and creates a boundary, and the boundary just kind of like side swipes through the area. So when I show the models, you can kind of see it does exactly that. Does a complete U-turn too, and then the boundary just continues to move on through. I'm really curious to see if my 23rd, so the GFS is still consistent with this event here that I've been talking about for probably half a week, maybe a week, something like that. I talked about it on Saturday, talked about it on Friday, talked about it on Thursday, something like that. I saw something here from the 23rd or something around the 23rd that there could be something brewing up into the northern plains, central to northern plains. I didn't know exactly where, but it's been pretty consistent as to the location of where it's going to be in the northern plains. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be up there for now. But yeah, that's practically the reason why there's a slight risk up there, and how that kind of leads to my little severe weather that could possibly be happening this coming Saturday. Or next Saturday, even though it's the new week. Something like that. Alright. I do want to take a look real quickly at the CMIS data. So, oh boy. I want to see something real quick too. Mimic. There's Cyclone Amphan. Amphan is actually supposed to be like this super typhoon or a super cyclone or whatever really soon. And I'm actually genuinely concerned, for the people over there, because that's actually like mental. Pacific. There's nothing over there. Okay, we're just gonna take a look at Ampfan in general and just see what all we can find. Yeah, so right now it's getting up to category 4 strength, and yeah, it's gonna go mental from there. So there's some people that are actually saying it could go to a category 5. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know. I do want to see something though. This storm is mental. Yeah, take a look. Take a look. It's just kind of, it blew up. Stream forecast, meso discussion, enhancers for Pennsylvania, long track streams likely. Seems legit. Should Williamson County, Tennessee be fine later? Yeah, theoretically they should be. They'll just get some passing by storms. Can't rule out any sort of warning whatsoever, including tornadoes, so, you know, I guess we'll have to see. But honestly, I think they should be fine. Yeah, this boy is just having a whale of a time. I'm gonna be completely honest. The shear, obviously, I've mentioned that the green lines are typically pretty good. The yellow is it could help it or defeat it. And then 25, anything above 25 knots is pretty good. Yeah, I know this is the wrong storm. This isn't Arthur. This is the big boy that's probably going to take out a part of Myanmar in India. This is what's his face? I can't remember. What is it? What is he called? Amphan. Amphan is just going mental. I was really curious as to what all is happening with this storm. I know I just jumped from like storm to storm, but I do want to see this. The AMSU satellite. Oh boy. 128 knots. Yeah, that's mental. Okay. 88 knots, 99 knots. Actually, that's like more than 100 knots. Something like that. But we do have a new tornado warning. I do want to get to that real quick before we go out to some of the other cells. So this is for Beauregard and Calciu Parish again. That'll be in effect until 7:15. Oh, he's already got it. Okay, fine. We got that. When it comes to the actual storm, there's still nothing really too much here. You got an outflow boundary here. You could have rotation back here, but I don't see this thing doing all too much, to be completely honest. Let's see. Radar indicated rotation. Yeah, I kind of doubt that. I think they're just putting stuff out to put stuff out. You live in Florida. Should you be scared? No. You probably shouldn't be scared, bro, kid. You'll be fine. Yeah, I don't see anything here that could warrant a tornado. Does have an updraft, I will say that. Does have a tornadic updraft, so that's probably the reason why they issued that. But other than that, I don't really foresee it being too relevant. Yeah. Anyways, let's look back at this big boy over here that's heading towards India. Upper level winds are kind of okay. Lower level winds, can't see. Nice. Whew! That thing's crazy, huh? Well, at least they're all in agreement as to where this is at. Is it even hurricane season? I mean, it's not the official hurricane season, but technically it's normal for it to have for the East Coast when it comes to the US. It's typical for some sort of tropical development to be happening this early. But no, it's not the official hurricane season. Let's see. That's some crazy vorticity, I gotta say. Divergence is not bad. Convergence, kind of nice. The shear is mental, once again. I mean, it's really interesting in general. I'm gonna say, it's pretty nice. Yeah, this storm just rapidly intensified right in front of our eyes, so that's really interesting. Cloud formation over Georgia. Is it going to storm? I mean, it'll probably produce some lightning over there, but Georgia isn't really supposed to be getting a bunch of stuff. Let's take a look at Arthur now. Arthur, prolong the experience enough, this boy is having a whale of a time, I gotta say. Here is Arthur. Here he is. Yeah, that's fine. So let's go over to the sea surface temperatures. One thing to note is that, remember how I told you guys how anything in the yellow is okay? And the green is like, eh. The blue is bad? Okay, well, this is mainly because of the Gulf Stream. And it's following those temperatures. So with that being said, it's sustaining itself because it's staying along that path. One thing to note as I switch over to the infrared and actually play a GIF for us to see its overall motion, you can kind of see how it actually has that characteristic where it's got that spin. Now, whether or not it's organized, it's kind of hard to tell at this point. It is facing a bit of shear, and if I were to turn off the animation real quick, you guys would be actually able to see that the northern parts of the outer bands are actually dealing with a lot of shear. But other than that, when it comes to the actual development, barely any. 10 knot shear is honestly not all that bad for itself, and especially since with the direction of the shear and how the thunderstorms are being pushed towards the actual center from out here, that's going to be really interesting. These thunderstorms will try and start to create some issues for the people along the coast. But the also interesting thing is that usually most of the moisture is down here. And the fact that the moisture is kind of being hindered a little bit by the wind shear is one thing to keep in mind as it tries to pull those thunderstorms into the actual storm. So one of those things where you guys need to go ahead and take your precautions. Let's see.
Police! 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 Help!
Oh my god.
Help! Police! Help! Help! Police!
Did you fix the super chat sound yet?
I don't know. I haven't attempted. I'm gonna be completely honest. I've just been doing my own thing at my house. Trying to help the Discord server in its entirety, but to be completely honest, haven't really done anything. Which, by the way, if you guys want to join the Discord server, link in the description down below to Storm Central. It's fixed. Okay, good. Stuff is quite nice. Anyways, the winds is kind of I'm gonna be completely honest. There's definitely signs of an attempt of organization, but other than that, just nothing really too interesting. But yeah, you can kind of see how this has general area of just a general area of rotation. Nothing really too interesting in my honest opinion. If I were to quickly go over to the satellite imagery and show you all, oh boy, as it tries to load. Yeah, there we go. So take a look at that. You can definitely see from the infrared the general rotation of the actual tropical system. Nothing too organized near the center yet, which is it's good news for people who don't want it to intensify. But the only issue is that now the storms, granted it is past the evening and that daytime heating isn't going to be that as much of a thing. It still has the possibility to try and produce something relatively soon, but as it once it passes by North Carolina, I won't be surprised if it goes subtropical almost immediately. But other than that, nothing really too interesting. You just stop by to say hi. You're gonna be watching some wrestling. Yeah, I don't intend on streaming for that long. So, do you think the next 2 weeks could be very bad for tornadoes? Let's put it this way: we had a more than below average time for tornadoes in the beginning of May. Like the first half of May, absolutely nothing. We had like six tornadoes, so that's obviously below average. We're definitely going to see more than that within the last half of May, but it still won't be average. It'll be below average for tornadoes, in my honest opinion. Mainly because just it's so terrible. Nate streaming a small slight gang. Okay, this entire point of the stream is for me to talk about Arthur and the rapid fire tornado warnings and stuff like that. Other than what I was talking about. Take a look at this though. Oh god, that's not what I wanted. I need water vapor is probably easy. There you go. Take a look at that. So one thing I want to point out here, plenty of moisture over here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to outline all of this area. Plenty of moisture. Bit drier over here. You know, anything above the lines is a bit dry, but there's a lot of moisture out here where there isn't a lot of shear. So it probably won't have an issue trying to organize as it moves off towards North Carolina. But, you know, it is moving into an area that is a bit more unfavorable. But, one thing that I do want to see is high res. Yeah, so take a look at that. There actually is some clouds that are forming a bit of an eye. It's just the thunderstorms that aren't really organizing under it. If it could start producing some thunderstorms like right within here and then start wrapping it around, then it will definitely start to ramp up a bit when it comes to the activity. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting, I will say. But let's take a look and see. I do want to take a look at Tropical Storm Arthur's mimic, and you can kind of see here that it's starting to get the band to form around the side, but then it just kind of depletes a bit.
Police!
Oh my god.
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police!
High hope is help you going.
Terry with 2 British pounds. Thank you so much for the 2 British. I guess, do you call it? Can I say dollar at this point? The two British pound super chat. I really do appreciate it. It probably will help me in the long run, actually. Most of the donations that I get from you all, it helps me in the long run. I just want to say. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. All of them. I wasn't expecting... I wasn't actually expecting to get anything tonight. I'm going to be completely honest. Mainly because I would be streaming for so little. So, could a Cat 3 or above happen in June? I mean, it could. But it's unlikely. I do want to say though, the CFS wants it to happen. You guys want to see some chaos? I love to just look at these models and laugh. I'm gonna be completely honest. You ready? Chunky boy time. Doop doop doo. Oh yeah, that's quite interesting, gotta say. Let's see. When will this make landfall? Probably midday Monday. Midday Monday will be probably the ideal time for Arthur to potentially make landfall. The only issue is that, granted, most of the models are saying that it will make landfall. It's very hard to tell whether or not it will. Now, I'm planning on... If Arthur does intensify over the evening and into the night, which I will continue to monitor, then I will be live streaming when Arthur makes landfall, for you all, and I'll just give you all some pretty nice analysis on what I think is going to happen. But if it just kind of like dies out a bit, then I honestly don't really think that I'll stream all too much. But I guess we will just have to find out as the day goes on. One thing that I do want to take a look at real quickly, because I know that the hurricane hunters are out right now. We can take a look and see what they're looking at. So they just went through the eye of Arthur, or if you can call that an eye. It was relatively calm right near the middle, I'm not going to lie. But then it went over through a thunderstorm and it went up to 30 knots, which is kind of concerning to me, mainly because it could be forming an eye wall. And with that being said, it's probably going to be intensifying if it can wrap those around the eye. You can kind of see how it was a bit gustier as it got closer to the eye, and then it like weakened a bit, and then just became calm as it went towards the center of circulation. So, if it can wrap those thunderstorms around, definitely one of those things where it will definitely be really interesting. I do want to take a look and see. Okay, so that's actually a decent sounding of what I was doing. So, yeah, advisory 5A is going to be really interesting. As a matter of fact, here it is, 5A. 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It is 1,004 millibars and 45 mile per hour winds. So it was 102 millibars, I believe. It was. Hold up. Public advisories. So 4A, it was 102. And now it is weakened to 104. There it is. 104 millibars, weakened just a bit, but it's still moving north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. So it's kind of interesting. Tropical warning, storm warning has been issued for Surf City to Duck, North Carolina, as well as Pamlico over to the Ablamarley Sounds. So if you know anyone who lives over there, just tell them that granted you'll probably get some storm surge and rip currents will be a thing, but it won't really be that much of a flood threat. It won't be that much of a wind threat either. Located by Air Force Reserve Reconnaissance Aircraft near latitude. Turn towards the northeast with an increase in forward speed is forecast to occur later tonight or on Monday. A turn towards the east is expected on Tuesday. On the forecast track, the center of Arthur will remain well offshore off the coast of Georgia and tonight move near or just to the east of the coast of North Carolina on Monday. Arthur is forecast to turn away after that. Interesting. I'm trying to figure out. Next complete advisory is at 11, so that'll be kind of interesting as it moves off more. Oh my God!
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police!
Keep up the great work, Nate. Can't wait to see what you do with the stream.
Gavin Nelson with the $10 super chat. What in the world are you doing? Sheesh! Gavin, thank you for the kind donation, my friend. I really do appreciate it. The stream isn't supposed to be going past this long. I said it would end right around 8. But I kind of want to stream for a little bit longer just to see what all happens. I'm not going to lie. Nothing's happening in Illinois as I thought it would. There is a massive flood threat in Chicago for whatever reason. Oh my goodness. First Avenue closed due to flooding in an overpass. Oh boy. So if you know anyone in Chicago, just tell them that they're going to probably be seeing a lot of rain soon. If not, they're seeing a lot of rain at the moment. So, it's one of those things where turn around, don't drown, don't risk your life. Rather have you safe than sorry. 3.5 inches of rain at one specific spot. Yeah, that's crazy. Can I run the sim of the Midwest? Forecast says nothing about skies say otherwise. Depends. Where in the Midwest? if it's there's specific areas that I'm watching too. If it's for today, then nothing really is going to be happening. Unless if you live over in, like, say, Kansas. No, not Kansas. New Mexico or, say, Colorado. But other than that, there really isn't a lot happening over in Texas. You might get some general thunderstorms. Or, like, even Oklahoma or Kansas, stuff like that. Yeah, the line kind of just deteriorates. So, Dean Scream, come with it. Okay, we will eventually get the green screen. The thing about it is that, number one, I gotta create a new bank account. Number two, they're sold out until the 28th of May, so I'm going to have to buy one. I can pre-order one, and then they'd have it sent in by, say, later parts of the beginning of June, like the 6th or something like that. So there's that. As for the other plans that I have when it comes to improving the quality of the stream, I guess you'll have to see, but it is what it is. Will Ohio get any rain tonight? Yeah, they'll be getting some rain tomorrow too. It just depends upon where in Ohio you're talking about. There's also a tornado threat for Ohio tomorrow as well. Same as today for the western parts of Ohio. So it's just all over the place. Let's see. Do I think Wednesday will be bad? Because SPC already gave a 15% risk on day 4. I mean, it'll probably be for gusty winds. It won't really be that much for tornadoes, to be completely honest. But, if I were to double check that to try and support my theory. Let's see. Does the NAM say what all is happening that day? Okay, so they got thunderstorms forming. What did the photographs say? Okay, so there's a general risk for... There might possibly be some sort of tornadic activity, but nothing too big. Want a dancing drunk weather forecaster? You'll eventually get it. I'm not going to lie. I feel like people are portrayed when it comes to the weather community as they have to be forecasted. They have to be forecasted. They have to be professional. There's always been a label for where, oh, you have to be professional, you gotta install credibility and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, why can't you do both, but also why can't you have fun at the same time? Just do both. It's crazy. Terry, you don't have to send me any money, but thank you for coming out to the stream. I really do appreciate it. I just feel like there's a label that has been put on, like, weather enthusiasts, that they have to be professional. And there's a time and a place for being professional, but you can also kind of just be, pretty chill about it too. That's something that I just, for a while, felt the need of that. So, when I do create my video with script and all, I'm still working on the script. But when I do that, expect a not so different version of me. You're used to me being professional all the time, but then there are some instances where when we have downtime, we can just, like, chill and we have fun and talk about and stuff like that. Expect to see that for an entire video, but also have it be semi-professional. So, yeah. You live near Dayton, Ohio area, so you're saying that there's greater odds for a tornado. For winds and possibly a tornado, but it's not like it's a big risk. It's not like it's a big risk whatsoever. It's just, little risk. Small chance. I returned from the hospital. You had 5 seizures back to back. Still very weak. Well, welcome back, and thank God you're okay, Fab SFM. Thank the Lord. Let's see. Sorry did not get here earlier, Nate. Just woke up from a nap. You're fine, Royal NYR. You're fine. It's not a requirement for you to be here. What are we looking for? Storms today? Nothing really too big. All the tornado warnings have been canceled. And the main purpose of me streaming today was just to check in on Tropical Storm Arthur, in which The latest advisory came out and said that it was still a 45-mile-per-hour storm with 1,004 millibars, which actually is 4 millibars better than it was 3 hours ago. So it's meh. It's okay. It's getting there. But it could be a lot worse. It could honestly be a lot worse. So it's not too bad. But it is going through some decent thunderstorms right now. So I guess we'll have to figure it out. What's going on with Arthur right now? As I said, it's a 104 millibar storm with 45 mile per hour wind gusts, or not gusts, sustained winds that could be moving through. So, you know, it'll try and organize a bit eventually. I guess we'll have to figure that out as it comes by, but, you know, I guess we'll have to see. Arthur is a tropical storm. It wouldn't have a name if it was a depression. Let's see. Well, just take it day by day, Fab SFM. Take it day by day. What's a millibar? So, millibar is a pressure system. And as the pressure gets higher, it means that it's less likely for thunderstorms or it isn't as intense. If it's lower, then that's when it's worse. You know, just like, and that's applied for everything. It could be applied for tropical storms. It could be applied for lows and stuff like that. Typically, if you have a lower pressure, it's pretty bad. Like a really low pressure. Like that's the reason why if you've ever been if you've ever encountered a tornado, you can hear you can have your ears pop. That's because a tornado has really low pressure. And yeah, that does that to you. Yeah. You're the same Alex Silva from Compound Weather. Oh, cool. I am not really... I mean, I'm associated with Compound Weather, but not as much as my own server. My own servers. We've just been having a whale of a time. Got to say, it's been pretty enjoyable here. Pretty enjoyable. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Is there any questions that you guys may have for us? About to say 105 sustained. No, not already. Yeah, I told you all today I wasn't intending on staying for long. And you guys can kind of see that my brain is not currently here right now. I am currently trying to figure out the plot of this anime, but it's just got me captured. I've just been thinking about that for the most part. No. Hope you can invite me to your server again. Create a new server. Links in the description down below. But you have a mute service that you have to. You still have to serve your mute time. Wasn't there a low pressure near 980 last month? Could be wrong. Yeah, there is. Yeah, it could be. Why does your local National Weather Service have some effects of Arthur reaching your area, Rhode Island? Because, it's going to be like curling around a bit, and you can see some thunderstorms up there. Now, there is going to be, still rip current risk up there. So, it's a rip current risk across the board when it comes to, the East Coast. So, it's one of those things where, yeah, it is what it is. How long is your mute? You forgot? 6.5 hours. Due to how many accounts of rules you broke that day. I was wondering if you were tired or what was going on. Okay, yeah, I haven't really gotten a lot of sleep. I've just been doing my own thing. And watching anime is one of them. So, yep. But I've been kind of doing it on purpose because I just can't get it out of my head. I'm just like, hey, this is pretty nice. I do enjoy this. Go to sleep tonight? No, I don't go to sleep until 3:30. Although it probably should just be 2 and 2:30 because that's when SPC and National Hurricane Center updates at 2 o'clock. So it's one of those things where I was just like, hey, that's pretty cool. Might as well. You'd be surprised. Some people want to sneak out onto the beach. You'd be surprised. Still gonna dance at the end of the stream today? Nope. I'm going to immediately watch anime. I'm gonna be completely honest. The link's all the way in the description down below. It's at the bottom of the description. Called Storm Central. That is the link. Said it once, say it again. Nate is a weeb. I'm not a weeb. I'm an anime enthusiast. If I was a weeb, I would be talking about, like, all different stuff about anime 24/7. And what I mean by that is I would be talking about why I think the anime that I'm watching right now is good and why I think is bad. And I'm not doing that. I may have a body pillow over there, but it's just like, it's nah. Not really too big of a deal. Oklahoma will get severe weather Thursday through Monday. Could be a 10% chance of tornado one of those days. I was looking at all of that stuff. I will say that. You're experiencing another seizure. This is going to come off as really disrespectful, chat. All right. But if you can hear my thought process right now, then you might understand. If you were having a seizure, then you wouldn't be able to talk or do anything. So now I'm becoming skeptical. I don't know if you're having actual issues, but if you can understand where I'm coming from. If you were claiming that you were having another seizure, you wouldn't be talking to us about it. I'm going to be completely honest. And that's just my honest opinion. You probably, if you were doing that, your first thought would be contacting the medical facilities. You kind of see my drift here. It's not to call you out.
Police! 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 Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police!
Lawn chair. If you're in Storm Central, you get it.
Steven, thank you for the $2 super chat lawn chair. Oh my god, we gotta get this lawn chair emote. I mean, for a person who knows who has known people to have seizures, you know, the first thing that they did afterwards is contact the medical authorities. You know, and they didn't do, you know, you get my drift. If you were having a seizure, the first thing that you would be doing is contacting your medical authorities, and I recommend that you do that. So, I'm not saying that you're lying or anything, because if you are lying, then that's the scummiest thing that you could do. And honesty goes a long way. But, you know, you wouldn't be talking to us if you were having a seizure. I'm gonna be completely honest. Just based off experience with someone who is really close to me who had a seizure. Just saying. It wasn't a seizure, just your POTS syndrome. I'd have to do more research on what POTS syndrome is. That's getting out of my jurisdiction, but it's not good for you to claim false information. It's not a very good look, but thank you for telling us the truth. I do gotta say that. Truth goes a long way. Yeah, there's only this severe thunderstorm warning right now in Alabama. That's really it. Everything else is pretty much dunzo. Typically what I do when it comes to these tropical storms and stuff like that, I love just staring at the Air Force recon missions, and I just continuously inform you all about that. You know, so it's just constantly, me telling you all what they're seeing right now. That's typically what I do, and then I also take a look at the satellite stuff like that, which actually I do want to see something real quick. It's basically when you stand up after lying down, you get super light and headed and dizzy. So it's basically iron deficiency. It's basically having iron deficiency for quite some time. I know you just said it wasn't a seizure, but you said before that it was, which is the reason why I was skeptical before when you said that you were having another one. But at the same time, now since we understand what it is, basically iron deficiency to the maximum, you probably should continuously drink water. Probably, that's the best way I can put it. Granted, you'll be urinating for quite some time. I would continue to do that. I know I'm not a doctor, but one thing that I know is that iron deficiency is not a joke. Definitely not a joke. Yeah, shear continues to be nice. Oh yeah, the intensity. According to the satellites, 36 knots in some spots, which means that it's like 40 miles per hour. So I wouldn't be surprised if it actually weakened a bit. It'd be pretty interesting. Where's this at? This is off the coast of the US. So you can see, here's Florida. Actually, let's get a better pen. Here's Florida. Here's South Carolina. That was terrible. Here's South Carolina. Here's North Carolina. Here would be Jacksonville. Here would be Atlanta somewhere. I think Atlanta's around there. Something like that. Charlotte would be right about there. DC is right there. So here's Arthur. Oh yeah, Tampa would be right there, and Orlando would be right there, and Miami would be right here. So there's Arthur. To get an infrared data for you all, here is the outer bands of Arthur. You can see how it kind of swirls around. Classic tropical storm. Not really too organized in all of its entirety, but it's still there, and it's doing its own thing. You can actually see continuously on the GIF that it continues to swirl as a typical tropical system does, and it actually seems as if it's trying to form thunderstorms around the eye now, which is kind of interesting to me. I said if it did this, then it probably would intensify as it gets closer and closer towards the outer banks. So that's one thing that I'm probably going to continue to watch. If it does get close enough to the outer banks, I will live stream the process of it moving through that general vicinity. But other than that, there just really isn't much to talk about besides the fact that the impacts for all this will most likely be storm surge on the minimum, probably up to, I'd say, 6, 7, 8 inches. A little bit less than a foot. We'll just say around or less than a foot. Rain will be up to 4 inches along the Outer Banks, and maybe even a little bit more of Heartland, North Carolina. So the flooding risk won't be that bad, and you will see some tropical storm. Alan Snyder. First off, I want to say you scared the crap out of me. I haven't heard that in like 3 streams. As much as that is a sound to behold, it absolutely scared the ever-living crap out of me. You can kind of see how I messed up my circle. But Alan Snyder, thank you for the subscription. I really do appreciate it. Oh my good lord. You'll probably see some tropical storm wind gusts right within the Outer Banks, and maybe even parts up even to Hatteras. You probably could see that stuff up there in Hatteras too. But other than that, nothing really too interesting besides those things. If you guys were to ask me, as to forecast intensity and track of said Arthur, well, first off, let's go ahead and take a look at some other models, and then we'll say specifically as to the track. So I tend to have a bias towards the GFS, because after what it did last year, it actually correctly predicted most, if not all, of the tropical systems as it as they all progressed through last year. So Dorian correctly predicted the beginning of that all the way until it stalled over the Bahamas. I messed that one up. I did predict the intensity prior to getting towards the Bahamas. Because I didn't anticipate it sitting over the warmest waters of the entire area. But when it comes to the track, as of right now, I think it'll probably go right around there, I'd say. It'll be really close to the Outer Banks. Whether or not there's a landfall, I don't. There's a really good chance. I want it to make a landfall, mainly so that I could just, basically, have the first landfall on stream. And, we've obviously had landfalls, but, my first ever landfall of this year will be on stream. That'll be pretty cool. So, yeah. I don't think it'll make landfall particularly. It'll be really close to the actual Outer Banks, but it'll be right along there. When it comes to the intensity, the wind shear right now, if I go back to the, yeah, here we go. So if we go back to the CMIS, you can see that the shear is actually next to none. If I were to draw a line here, anything with it, down below this line means that's amazing wind shear. It's perfect shear for it to continue to function. And there's a lot of moisture down here, so it'll just continue to suck up all the moisture it needs so it can continue to intensify a bit. If it can wrap around the thunderstorms a bit more towards the center of circulation, it could definitely get winds of probably even 50 to 55 miles per hour, maybe even 60. But the only issue here is that if we were to go over and I were to turn off the GIF real quick, and I were to show you the sea surface temperatures, not really too favorable as it continues to move over to North Carolina. So I said the best that it probably could do will probably be, I would say, 50 miles per hour at maximum. And then it will continue to probably intensify as a subtropical storm. But I would say around North Carolina, you could expect winds to get up to 50 miles per hour sustained near the eye. So that's that. Let's see. It may not look good right now, but some are saying that this will become a hurricane. The NAM says that it's going to be a hurricane, but you can only trust the NAM for severe weather. We only have in the NAM we trust for severe weather. That's going to be completely... Let's put it this way. Let's take a look at the NAM. The NAM says that it will be Chunky Boy. 991 cell or storm. Or is that 94? No, 93. I thought I said 1 for a second. I had to adjust my chair. It probably could do best, you know, something like that. Oh, new tornado warning in Louisiana. So I guess we're not stopping the stream. We'll take a look at that in a bit. But I do want to say it does have all the moisture possible for it to continue to do all this stuff. The NAM got Michael right when no one else did. Well, the HWRF got that right. I'm gonna be completely honest, because the HWRF continues to think that everything is a rapid intensification. Which, speaking of which, I do want to see what does that have to say about it. Oh my god! It's a 990 cell. The 990 possible hurricane. Oh my goodness. It does say it's going to go right over the Outer Banks. So maybe, just maybe, it will either be near, if not on top of the Outer Banks. That's my prediction. You probably will see. If I were to give the probability of a landfall, I would say 60%. 60% chance. Arthur hits southeastern Maryland and East Delaware. I would have to say you guys would probably see some thunderstorms. Thunderstorms. Rip currents, yes. Don't go out in the ocean. Love of God. Especially since, you know, Ocean City is a popular place. You guys could possibly see some thunderstorms. But other than that, probably not. It won't become a hurricane, for the love of God. I don't believe that it will. It'll probably get pretty bad, though, as it moves off the coast and turns towards Bermuda. It won't get pretty bad, but it will be interesting. Notice how it says 990 as it moves off the coast for the GFS. I think that's a bit more reasonable. You know, but then it'll probably be subtropical due to all the shear pushing all of the thunderstorms out from under the actual thing. So you can kind of see how it kind of demoralizes itself and dies out a bit. So, it is what it is. You have a beach right next to your house. Well, don't do it. When it gets closer to you guys, like probably late Monday into Tuesday, I would say don't go out into the ocean. As a matter of fact, we'll just say mid-Monday. Mid-Monday into Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe Thursday. Don't go out in the ocean. Please don't. Care about your safety. Care about your safety. How about Virginia? Depending upon where in Virginia, they're going to get some thunderstorms, but they won't be impacted by Arthur directly. It'll just mainly be North Carolina. Your chat's really chill today. Yeah, because they weren't really anticipating a stream today at all, to be completely honest. So it's just doing its own thing. New tornado warning for Evangeline. Fine. We're going to go take a look at the tornado warning for Evangeline Parish in Louisiana. This will be in effect until 7:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. If I were to take a look at the reflectivity, you can kind of see the little tail-ish type thing back here. You can kind of see that. The velocities show decent ones. Decent velocities. I won't be opposed to the possibility of a potential tornado. But I don't think it's on the ground right now, per se. But you can definitely see how the reds are moving away, the grays are moving towards, and right in the middle is where the rotation would be. So as that continues to move off, let's get some timings here for you all, so that I can inform you all around when you guys will be able to see some of this activity. So this will be moving just to the west of Easton, just to the just around the it'll be paralleling State Route 10 all the way until the junction north of Riddell with State Route 13. So if you guys know anyone who lives near Vidrian, Riddell, Memo, and maybe even Easton, as well as around State Route 10 and State Route 13, tell them to get underground or get into the lowest innermost part of your building, particularly a closet or a bathroom with no windows, so you can put as many walls between yourself and the actual possible tornado, you know, just for your safety. Where did my frog go? Oh, is this it? I don't know. I had a frog. It's a ring pop. I don't need a ring pop. I need my frog. It's my little stress ball thingy. It actually is really enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where it is. I can't see anything. Oh, got it. Look at it. Look at it, chat. Look at it. It's a little frog with Orbeez in it. I do enjoy it. There's some pretty good rotation with it. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty nice. This isn't me sounding like a child, by the way. It's just like, I can't stop. It's too addicting. It's like the fidget spinners from 3 years ago. Let's see, we get that. Could you see Eastern Maryland or Delaware see a tropical storm watch or warning? They could possibly see a tropical storm watch. To be completely honest there. But I don't think anything all too prevalent will be necessary. Yeah, I'm not joking. It's not that I'm acting like a child. It's just really addicting. Okay. Lesson, one of those things that you guys should probably learn from me is that I can't multitask. I'm trying to work on it. It probably would be beneficial if I figured out how to multitask, but yeah, that's a weak spot of my own. Potential CC drop here. I'm not going to lie. Possible CC drop. Spectrum width shows something. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt if this thing was possibly on the ground at the moment. So if you know anyone, as I said, who lives around State Route 13, State Route 10, you guys need to go ahead, take your precautions, as I said before. Get into your safe space. That'd be the best thing that I would recommend. You know, I would recommend that you do that at least. Yeah, I don't see any, I see a CC drop, obviously. The spectrum width, mainly, I'm assuming that this cell is going to be high precipitation based. So I don't typically look at the correlation coefficient as much. I typically look at the spectrum width just to see if there's any forcing of the winds moving down towards the surface. And indeed, there is some of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing could possibly be on the ground. I see Chidori. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, rather be safe than sorry. That's the real thing right there. Yeah. Be pretty interesting. I'm trying to see what else I could do here. I could take a 3D. Could take a 3D. But I don't think 3D is going to show me a lot. It shows me an inflow notch. I will say that. But it shows me a small inflow notch. So it's just It's doing its own thing, I will say. But it's definitely surface-based. All this stuff is definitely surface-based. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it with this storm. This storm is just doing its own little thing. Spectrum width's kind of relieved itself a bit. Yeah, there's a correlation coefficient drop right there. It's definitely on the ground now. It's definitely on the ground. So as I've mentioned, it's going to be paralleling State Route 10 all the way until the junction of State Route 10 and State Route 13 in Louisiana. So if you know anyone who lives over there near Riddell, Vendrin, and Easton, go ahead and tell them to get into a safe space because there's a possible tornado on the ground. So that'd be nice. When is the next big day for severe weather? I'm looking at next Saturday. Or at least this Saturday. You rickrolled someone on VC, Lamau. Sounds about right. I'm gonna be completely honest. Anything going to head for Kentucky? You guys will be getting some general thunderstorms. But quite honestly, I think you guys should theoretically be fine. If I were to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center, depending upon where you are in Kentucky, the line is currently moving through your area, so the risk might be kind of dying out. I love how I said I was going to end the stream at 8, and it's already been an hour and a half. It's been literally a half an hour since I said I was going to end the stream. So I guess this was just it is what it is. I'm also not anticipating large analytics from this stream. Really am not. Because today was the main purpose was just to talk about Arthur. Arthur is a hot topic right now. And you know, I should probably make just a live stream tomorrow. Not a part of me wants to make a live stream of just live analysis of Tropical Storm Arthur. Just put that as my title and then just let the people come into the stream. Boom. Easy clickbait right there. Clickbait 101. Stuff that a lot of people do. I love how it said Thanos should be mod, but then he said it 3 times. What are my predictions for the hurricane season numbers? Mine was 22 named storms, 10 to 12 hurricanes, 4 to 8 major hurricanes, 4 to 8 landfalls. When it comes to hurricanes, I said 17 to 19, I believe. I didn't say it publicly. I told my friends. But I said 17 to 19. I'm thinking about saying 17 to 20. 17 to 20 should be fine. 17 to 20. Named storms. I would say 9 to 11 hurricanes. I would say... When it comes to major storms, I would say 3 to 5. 3 to 5 major storms, which is Cat 3 or above. 2 to 4. 2 to 4. I think 2 to 4 is more reasonable. And then we'll probably see two Cat 5s. Now, when it comes to direct impacts, we'll probably see a lot more than we saw last year. I'll definitely say that much. Granted, we had a kind of decent above average year last year. But I think we'll see more impacts when it comes to the United States this year. So when you say 4 to 8 landfalls, I'd have to agree with that. Maybe say 5 to 8. I'll probably just say 5 to 8. CZ dropped the correlation coefficient. Definitely tightened. Yeah. So, as I said, this thing is still on the ground. Why the National Weather Service is not saying that, then I don't know. But it definitely was on the ground. We'll say that much. Mother Nature is like, nope, you are mine, boy. You're just gonna pop tours and general thunderstorm risk. Yeah, you're telling me. Can you check the Louisiana storm tornado? Yep, that's what I'm doing right now. Anything in Lafayette? In Lafayette, like, somewhere... I don't know my geography. Yeah, there's Lafayette. You got a couple storms that'll be heading your way eventually, but Lafayette, as of right now, is probably going to just be seeing some general thunderstorms. Tornado on the ground. It was on the ground for a bit. Right now, it doesn't seem to be on the ground as of right now, but as to why these are not being verified, I've got no clue. It probably should be under the criteria of radar confirmed. Look at that. Look at that, chat. Could somebody please explain to me It's literally got a delta velocity of 66 knots. Why this thing is not confirmed, I've got no clue. But it's on the ground, and it's been going off and on for quite some time. Spectrum width is kind of dead a bit, so it might not be on the ground right now per se. But it's definitely doing something. Correlation coefficient doesn't show anything right now, so it's probably not on the ground right now, but it's just increasing in strength. What do you guys want? It'd be a bad storm in Atlanta. As of right now, no, I don't think Atlanta will be getting a bunch of bad storms. But you can definitely see something tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow you guys are in the risk. So. Nothing for tornadoes, though. Although you might potentially get something along that. Oh, well, the man here says it's not on the ground. I mean, he could. He could say it's not on the ground, but I say it was briefly on the ground for some time, especially since it still has an updraft. And its spectrum width was absolutely mental. The only thing about it is that this cell is high precipitation. You can't tell if this thing is on the ground if you're looking at it visually. You have to use the cues that you have from radar. And what I'm using here is, if I've learned anything from today from a friend of mine who we had a debate about, it's that the possibility of a tornado being on the ground, it usually is at its max when there is a condensed area of spectrum width over a specific area. And because there is a ball of spectrum width that is above 15 knots, I'd say that it was on the ground for a brief moment of time. There was even a correlation coefficient as it moved through. Look, that rat right there, when it turns blue, it means it's on the ground. It is probably on the ground. So, granted, there is a tornado warning for this, and people should already heed that warning in general. I believe it was probably on the ground. Yeah, we had to do that. So I believe, now granted, it's kind of dying out right now. I mean, the rotation really isn't anything too special at the moment. But it still was at mental levels prior, so I just wanted to make that clear. It is outflow dominant, I will say. It was outflow dominant. So, that probably means that it's short-lived, which actually proves our point now that it was quite possibly on the ground for just a short period of time. Yeah, I don't see it possibly being on the ground right now, so. Yeah, it's about to cross over Riddell in, say, a couple minutes. Here, let's get some tracks on here again. Riddell in about 5 minutes. The intersection of State Route 13 and State Route 10 in about 2. So if you guys know anyone who lives over there, as I said before, tell them to go ahead and take their precautions. We had to do that. Boom. Oh, goodness gracious. Today and yesterday has been weird. Yeah, it's been crazy. Yesterday I couldn't stream mainly because I had to travel to South Carolina, which is 7 hours away from my house. Oh, North and South Carolina. New warning, good catch. I just realized that myself. Tornado warning for Allen Parish, and that'll be in effect until 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The velocities here show greens moving towards kind of weaker reds moving away. This actually gives off a vibe to where it might be inflow dominant. You might be seeing something relatively soon. Right in the middle is where the rotation would be. Spectrum width shows that there could possibly be something trying to form. You can see on reflectivity how there's a little kink. The inflow surging into the actual storm. Correlation coefficient. No, it's not on the ground right now. And you might be thinking, whoa, Nate, there's a giant correlation coefficient drop. Why are you saying that that's a tornado? Well, allow me to explain. If I were to circle this entire area and quickly switch back to the reflectivity, you would see that it has really nothing to do with the actual tornadic rotation. You can kind of see how the greens are right here, and we're just circling all the reds. So it's nothing really too interesting along the lines of that. Nothing of interest, as I should say. So I would say it's not on the ground right now, but then again, pretend as if it is. People around Midi, along State Route 26, near Oberlin. If you guys know anyone who lives along that area, you guys need to go ahead and tell them to take their precautions. Either get underground or get into the lowest innermost part of your building, particularly a bathroom or a closet with no windows, so you can put as many walls between yourself and the tornado as possible. Let's see. You know this is about Arthur, but AmFam is the North Indian Ocean just has been upgraded to 150 mile per hour. Yeah, I knew that thing is going mental, as I was looking at earlier. It was just going crazy. AmFam is just having a whale of a time. As a matter of fact, I actually briefly went off to the side and looked at AmFam. AmFam was just literally going crazy. You killed me with those dance moves, Lamau. That sounds about right. I won't be doing it today, though, because I just want to go strictly... I want to just go watch my show / anime. You're bringing your furniture because of Arthur. Yeah. You'll get some thunderstorms. I will say that. Whether or not you will get directly impacted? No, I don't think you probably will. But you'll probably get some outer bands. So if you want to see, wind gusts of an upwards of probably 35 miles per hour, definitely could. I would push that storm somewhere else. Well, I mean, it's just kind of playing the indie in the box the entire time as it moves towards Myanmar and India. Pull out the good 2412 espoir. This storm here, this tornado warning, though, seems to be kind of trying to intensify a little bit. I will say. It is trying. It's definitely trying. And as a matter of fact, it's actually got a spectrum width right now. It's got a really interesting spectrum width. And because it isn't really high precipitation around there, I think it's just it's definitely producing a funnel right now. And I know that you guys are probably saying, oh, where's your evidence? I don't have evidence for that. But usually whenever the spectrum width goes mental like that, it means that there is some sort of forcing moving down into the storm, which could produce a tornado. So you just saw lightning. Oh boy. Well, good for you. Lightning's pretty interesting. Once you got 100 seems legit. 75 mile per hour wind gusts, wasn't even a hurricane, threw your chair off your deck. Well, that's typically what you get when you're on the coast, gotta say. Oh, your mom and dad's. Okay, that makes sense. Speaking of Delaware and Ocean City, I gotta figure out if I'm going there this summer. So there's a storm in Louisiana that did have a tornado warning on it, and now it's gotten reissued by the National Weather Service. Either the storm itself has lost severity. Yeah, so the storm that I believe kind of had a tornado for a brief time, it actually could still potentially have something there. It actually just got canceled straight up. No text as to why it did. But I feel like it could potentially attempt to try and produce something. So definitely don't throw this storm out quite yet. It could reorganize. This month has been pretty slow for tornadoes, especially since the month is supposed to be the prime month. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying it right now. May is going to be, even if you were to, like, say that this first half of the month was average, I'm still saying that the second half of May is going to be below average. You're going to see more activity than you've been seeing as of late, besides these past couple of days. I feel like they are a bit of abnormalities. But you'll probably see much below average when it comes to tornado activity. It's my honest opinion. Well, is next week potential for tornadoes because bad weather due to the fact that thunderstorms are in my weather every day except for Tuesday and Sunday? Well, I'm watching Saturday. Everyone's just kind of like grasping for straws and they're like, oh, watch for Thursday. Thursday is just going to be a gusty wind threat with embedded cells. I'm watching Saturday. And the reason why I say Saturday is because there's a trough moving through with warm temperatures getting up to about like 70 something, like upper 70s, with dew points in either the high 60s or low 70s. That in itself, with the forcing of the shear there, could make it so that there could be a tornado threat for like parts of Kansas and Nebraska, maybe even Oklahoma, depending upon how low it goes. But I think Oklahoma will probably be excluded from this event. So, what weather will Union, South Carolina get Monday? Just gusty winds. Can't rule out a tornado, but I don't think that you're going to see a tornado. I think it'll just be gusty winds, in my honest opinion. Just gusty winds. Maybe some lightning, maybe, but nothing really too interesting. Yeah, I don't see anything that's telling me that there's a tornado on the ground right now. So, yeah, it's just doing anything. So what month do you believe will be the highest severe weather for the Central Plains? June? Honestly, June. June will probably be the month for it. It's supposed to... Let's put it this way. I got some pretty neato long-range forecasters. Okay? And I work with them too. The one thing that you don't see in my stream a lot is long-range forecasting. Mainly because I'd have to just create videos for those, and I'm not willing to do those. But, you know, if you guys wanted to see my long-range forecasting on stream, then why not? I wouldn't be bothered in showing you all what my opinions are and stuff like that for, like, what is summer going to be like, you know. You guys can see above average temperatures, below average temperatures. Although I believe the average thing is just a way to grab attention and clickbait and stuff like that. You know, but I think June will definitely have... it'll be a higher amounts of severe activity than May. And you'll probably see some more stuff in the Central Plains, maybe even North Central Plains. Something of the sort. When do you think the Dakotas, Iowa, Minnesota could see severe storms? Late June, July, right around then. You'll definitely see stuff around then. June, July is typically when you guys will see that. How do you get us radar? What do you mean? I'm confused. Can you tell me the storm location, please? Sure. This is just to the south and the east of, the south and west of Alexandria, the north and east of Lake Charles, and the north and west of Lafayette. This is near a town called Oberlin, in Louisiana, and this is in Allen Parish. I know I said parish, but in Louisiana, for the people who don't reside there, they call their counties parishes. So, or parish. I don't know what the plural form of parish is over there, because I've only had to use parish for, religious terms. But Direct Weather has 12 out of his average 20 videos a year. How cold will it be? Yeah, that sounds about right. Don't get me wrong. We've seen a big tornado outbreaks during the summer and fall. True. Has there been a donation yet? Yeah, there has been a donation today. How much is 17 mile per hour as gusts? Depends. If it's 17 miles per hour sustained, gusts could get up to 30 miles per hour. But if it's 17 mile per hour wind gusts, then sustained you probably could see like 7, 8 miles per hour. Something like that. I love how Louisiana doesn't have a chance for tornadoes, but when they have 2 tornado warnings, it might actually be tornadoes. True. Just so happens that Louisiana's been under the gun for the past 2 days. Alexandria's EF3 happened late fall, days before winter. Yeah, actually, it wasn't in the fall. It was in winter. It happened in December. It was mid part of December. I was covering that one. It was a tornado emergency, too. Pretty interesting. A moderate risk for that day as well. Pretty fun. So many people hating on Direct Weather. As much as I disagree with the man and on how clickbait his stuff is and how broad his forecasts are. It's just the nature of forecasting and weather enthusiasts on YouTube. They love to overhype things, they love to get the views, and they love to get the money. I will say this. I didn't intend on this YouTube thing being a job. Which is the reason why I don't really like... It's a secret reason why I don't really like people giving me money. Because I feel like I don't deserve it. I feel like... It's not really that much of a deserve thing, actually. It's more of... I don't deserve it. I don't know how to word it, alright? I don't know how to word it. It's basically me saying... I am obliged to do this, and I would do it without you guys giving me money. This is still the same. I'm still going to be doing this no matter what, because I feel like I owe it to the people who actually pay attention to my channel, because I feel like they're going to be getting better live content than other people, which is the reason why I say I'm the best live streamer when it comes to severe, well, not even severe weather, just weather on YouTube. I feel like I'm the best. I feel like no one has rivaled me in that competition. It sounds cocky, but I feel like it's the truth, mainly because I'm the only one that actually stays up 24/7. Or not really 24/7, but I stay up the entire stream, whereas people decide to go up and they just go, oh, I'm going to turn off my face cam, and I'm going to get a loop for you all, and I'm going to have you all talk the entire time. Which, by the way, new tornado warning. It's for the cell that I literally just said for everyone to keep their mind, don't throw it away. Am I a psychic or what? Evangeline and St. Landry Parish, or Landry. I think it's Landry. That sounds like Landry. Well, anyways, Evangeline and St. Landry Parish, that'll be in effect until 8:15 Central Daylight Time. This will be heading off just to the south and east of Mamu, or Mamo. Don't know how to pronounce that, but... you can kind of see the greens moving towards the radar, the pinks moving away, and right in the middle is where the rotation would be. Spectrum width kind of shows that there is some sort of lowering around there, but it's very localized in one spot, which means that it hasn't fully gotten around. It's one of those things where it's doing its thing, but it's not doing its thing. It's just kind of not too organized right now. I gotta say, on reflectivity, though, interesting little hook. Interesting little inflow notch. Could possibly attempt to try and produce another tornado again. It could. I'm not sure if that's a correlation coefficient drop. It may just be the radar just messing it up, but I am not opposed to the idea of a tornado being on the ground right now, so... You entered a good market. Not a lot of people do these type of live streams on YouTube, so you definitely have a wide open market for growth. That was the idea when I got in here. I thought that not a lot of people were doing this, and I thought not a lot of people were doing it well. And so I was just like, hey, I'm doing it. You earned it after what happened in Jonesboro. I reckon with a cutout before then, you didn't cover the entirety of Eastern Sunday outbreak while you were stuck in the trenches all the way through. Dude, what sucks is that I lost that stream, though. If YouTube gave me that 24-hour live stream that I had, guaranteed I probably would have 3,000 subscribers by now. Now, I'm not upset. I'm upset, but I'm not upset. And the reason being is because I still gained a crap ton of people as a part of my fan base. And so for that, I'm still grateful. And I'm very happy that people have still gravitated to my channel and people are still paying attention and stuff like that to my content. So I can't really complain too much. Yeah, it is what it is. Won't lie, direct weather forecast for spring meteorology, March, May has been spot on. There's been some instances where they're pretty consistent. March and May has been, let's put it this way, he kind of got it right. But at the same time, when it comes to his spring forecasts, do you guys notice how he only forecasts like a week and a half to 2 weeks out? He doesn't do the entire thing. It's very easy to get the stuff within the first week and a half to 2 weeks. It's pretty difficult to get past that. Which is the reason why most people, whenever they forecast, they do like forecasts every week. So that people would think that their forecasts are spot on. Whereas if they just did it, say 4 weeks out, and they didn't do more forecasts, people would actually think that this guy is terrible. So it's a little quirk in the weather community where they'll continue to do forecasts over and over and over again, and it'll be pretty accurate for the first week and a half to 2 weeks, but then after that it's not so accurate. It's a little quirk in just a misdirection, if you will, of how it kind of lures people in and thinking that they're actually pretty good, when in all honesty, no one's good outside of a week and a half to 2 weeks. So it's just, I disagree with your severe weather, and yes, it should happen in June or July. But with what climatology forecast is showing me right now when it comes to June being better in severe weather than May, I mean, it's not going to be that much bigger. I hope you guys know that June isn't supposed to be big. But May has done absolutely nothing, and it will probably continue to do absolutely nothing, due to the fact that troughing will no longer be a thing. At least for the month of May. There won't be these like massive troughs that move up and down all the way through. It will be just localized crap based off of the low. That's really it. Last time I checked, I had 17K views on that stream. Yep, I did. Actually, I had almost 18,000. It probably wouldn't have been up to like 50,000 if I got it. But you know what? It is what it is. For me, the only hype beats for weather is David. Like every time there's severe weather forecast, he always mentioned there is going to be large tornadoes and softball-sized hail. He typically does that. A lot of people do it, but he typically does it, or at least what I've seen. Check the CC drop on that cell. Is there a CCCCC drop? Haha. It could possibly have done that. It could have possibly had a CC drop. I won't doubt. But nothing has really kind of aligned itself per se, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it hasn't produced a tornado yet. So yeah, I don't get paid whenever I have my own channel. I don't want to get paid on YouTube. Well, it's just convenient now that because I'm monetized, I can just get paid for my live streams, and it just so happens that like around 1,000 people come to every live stream that I have that's over 2 hours, which just so happens that it's about to be 2 hours now. But because there wasn't really that much of a turnout today, and I wasn't expecting any sort of big analytics from this stream, it probably won't get over 1,000 views. But it's still one of those things where I was just like, hey, I kind of wanted to stream anyways. I said I was going to, and I did. True on direct weather, but he does start doing long-term stuff usually so far out. He has made 2 long-term winter thoughts. That's mainly because people weren't asking for it. He was just like, it was so popular that I was just gonna do it so early. And I was telling my friends this, all right? I was telling my friends, I'm like, he does realize what season we're in right now, right? We're in spring. Not fall. Not summer. Not even winter. We're in spring. Spring. I just want you all to like take that in for a second. Just take it in. How the fuck are you gonna forecast winter if you're in spring? Literally the next winter. I don't even care if I curse there. Just think about it. How? You can't. His outlook on winter is probably going to change like once every month. It'll be from, oh, we're going to have above average temperature winter. Oh, we're going to have a below average temperature winter. Probably every month due to how far out we are right now. It's more or less for just content and money and all that such. Because it was so popular, people are going to be interested. Like, that's just me. By the way, I did say earlier in the stream, I said that it's very hard to keep character on stream. I gotta say, I curse every now and then on my server. You guys, if you want to join that, we have a lot of fun, talk about weather and all sorts of stuff. Link in description, alright? So I curse every now and then. In my recorded video that I'm going to be having, that's going to be so much... Dude, I don't think you guys understand how excited I am for this recorded video that I'm going to be making. Like, I'm going to... First things first, I'm just going to say it's going to be my personality in an entire video about weather. Here, let's do a sneak peek. We'll do a sneak peek of the stream. You guys can pause it, see what all I'm doing, stuff like that. I don't really care. Sneak peek to the video that I am going to be creating. This will be the first of many sneak peeks. Because I am so excited on what I'll be doing. It's just so... It's so nice. I absolutely love it. Alright, ready? Here's the sneak peek. Ready? 3, 2... I'll put it up for like 2 seconds. Ready? Boom. Sneak peek. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Gone. There's the end of the sneak peek. There's a lot more to it because my script is like pages long. Which means it'll probably be a longer video and I'll have to edit it like freaking crazy person. But you know what? This is something that I am genuinely excited about. And I feel like you all will enjoy this content. You guys will probably... Let's put it this way. If you actually like pause the stream and stuff like that and read what I say in the first part, for the people who actually pay attention to that, what I say there is kind of true. Alright? So... That's the beginning of my script of the video. I'm not going to be doing any more sneak peeks of the script, by the way. The next sneak peek will probably be, it will probably be me actually editing the stuff. Get a bunch of like edits and stuff like that, and it'll just be boom. So, but I feel like it's just, yeah, it's just doing its own thing. Why can't you see the warnings? Because I have it over here. This thing is the warning box. There isn't really a lot of warnings right now, so I'm just like, here. We'll put the warning box over here for you all. There you go. It's so hard to keep character when I live stream. I don't think you guys actually saw what that was. Did I? I don't know. It actually says there. It's very hard for me to keep character while live streaming. So, you know, when I break it every now and then, you guys can laugh and stuff like that. You can see that I actually have a cursing side. You know, my philosophy is that, yeah, cursing is wrong when it comes to my religion. If you are going to curse, there's a time and place for it, and there needs to be a reason. So now I sometimes curse without reason, and that's, you know, sorry God, I'm sorry, but gotta try to be funny every now and then. So, you know, that's just a sneak peek to my video. I am really excited about it. I'm probably going to be working on that script later tonight. But yeah, need some cutaway content? No. So this, if you saw what the title of the script is, then you would know, you would know what we're getting into. So when you get demonetized, well, it's over. The stream is over. Well, like the stream just doesn't get the money. That's not... Why do I keep misspelling definitely? I don't know why. I just do. SPC got their predictions wrong. Yeah, they probably should have extended the marginal down there, but at the same time, there's nothing really much they could have done. Boom. Also, if you're on my voice chats, you probably could hear me think out loud about how my script sounds. So far, I think it sounds absolutely phenomenal. I feel like you guys will probably have more than a whale of a time. You'll have a great time. Like, okay, I'm going to be completely honest. It says there in the sneak peek, so if you pause the video already, then, you know, you kind of just... It is what it is. But I'm just basically going to say a specific part in there. I feel like when people do their forecasts and they do their weather streams, their live streams and stuff like that, or even just their informationals about weather, you know, like, you know, how does a thunderstorm develop, or you know, they sound like a robot. You know, they sound like, okay, so we are going to have a tropical system form in the Atlantic. Boop, 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 boop. You know, just like, it's not fun. And so what I'm going to do is something different. I said earlier in the stream that it's easily portrayed that most weather enthusiasts have to be professional. I'm going to break that barrier. A lot of people might not like it. A lot of people might like it. But I feel like the label of meteorologist having to be professional has been put off and stereotyped for far too long, to the point where I feel like I don't need to change it, But it's gotten to the point where it's been a little earworm, and I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm just gonna put my own version of a video. It'll be different content that I feel like everyone could enjoy, everyone could have a laugh at, be a bit of comedy, but also be informational. And it was being very nice. You hide a bag of chips next to your bed? Yeah, I do. I'm hiding that over there. Definitely, I got goldfish here too. Boom, got my goldfish. Please sponsor me. Pepperidge Farm and Minute Maid, please do that for me. Yeah. So that's basically what I'm gonna be doing. KY, what's up? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a lot different than what people are typically used to. And you guys can see my personality if you're on my live stream. If you're subscribed to me, you're subscribed to my content. And you know that my content typically has some sort of like, you know, it's different from being professional. I can be professional sometimes, but at the same time, there are going to be some instances where I love to have fun. You know, love to have fun with you guys. So, be one of those things where we all could just enjoy ourselves. And the hazardous weather outlook for Arthur, I can say a 40 to 60% chance for a tropical storm watch, 20 to 40% chance for warning. Yeah, I said that you guys would probably be in the realm of having a tropical storm watch, something like that. Goldfish and Cheez-Its are the best snack food. That, and if you've had chicken and a biscuit, that right there are the three things. Mainly goldfish and chicken and a biscuit for me. I have Cheez-Its downstairs, but my little brother typically takes it. That and chicken and a biscuit is the snacks that I will enjoy the most. It's up to you because you're not only entertaining, but also give the best storm coverage you've seen better than a news channel. Well, thank you, Roberto. I actually do appreciate that. I really do. I try my best. I mean, but it is what it is. And it seems as if the cell is just doing its own thing. CC drop? Not right now. I'm not looking at the CC mainly because of how disorganized it is. Although now it's starting to. Usually when you see the velocities, the strongest velocities, like almost parallel with each other, rather than like down here and then like up here, you know, that's when you would typically see of how it's starting to tighten up. And right now it's not really doing anything. So. The weather channel is saying that you're getting rain but not thunderstorms. Mainly because... Oh, wait. If you're talking about for now, then I have no clue. But if you're talking about in the future, then probably because the outer bands of Arthur, and they don't really produce a lot of thunder, if any. We're on the squall line to get to Kentucky. Lots of lightning with it. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning with all that. Did they just issue another... Yeah, they issued another tornado warning. It literally died, and I was about to say, oh, the tornado warning has been canceled. Oh, they just issued another one. Very nice. This will be for Evangeline, Acadia, and St. Landry Parish, and that'll be in effect until 8:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. As I've mentioned before, the velocities are still there. Pink's moving away. Gray's moving towards. Same old, same soul. Same old, same soul seems legit. My goodness. I can't talk. Spectrum width doesn't really show a lot, I'm going to be completely honest. It does show a general consensus as to some sort of rotation around there, which allows me to, leads me to believe that there is something going on in the realm of that over there, but it's just, it's doing something. Will Middle Tennessee have any chance of tornadoes tonight? Your wife and children are there tonight. If you're going off the SPC, then you said Middle Tennessee. Well, Middle Tennessee is probably... Oh, the new outlook came out. There's still a 5% chance for tornadoes. Of course there is. Middle Tennessee for tonight probably won't. It's going to be this slow-moving trough, and you'll probably get some gusty winds tomorrow. But other than that, not really. Definitely one of those things you are going to want to take your precautions. Let's see. You have a leafy setup, humor of Trevor Wallace, and the body of a teenager. Perfect weather streamer. Seems legit. Want to be friends by Logan? Okay, so here's the thing about that. Okay. There's a lot of these bots that have been going around. They're saying we want to be friends, and there's a scandal to where the younger audience of YouTube actually says, "Oh yeah, let's be friends," and it actually just hacks their account. So allow me to ask you: are you a bot? And if you're not, then do me a big favor: go down to the description down below and join the Discord server that I'm in. Currently own it with a bunch of other people. We talk about the weather. So if you want to be friends, we can go be friends on Discord. Ease with it ease. Let's see. You're gonna head out. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Yep, see you, Gavin. We'll get to Arthur in a second. I know some people wanted to get back to Arthur, because Arthur is a hot topic right now. I might as well just change the title of the video to Tropical Storm Arthur coverage, shall we? Because why not? It's gonna get more views. We'll just say Tropical Storm Arthur. Can't spell Arthur. We might as well do that. Boom. Tropical Storm Arthur coverage. 10 out of 10. We'll probably do a stream tomorrow, live streaming the Tropical Storm Arthur getting towards the thingamabobber. The Outer Banks. There's a bot saying that in the pyro community. Of course there is. All the bots. All right, let's go back to Arthur. Let's go back to Arthur, because Arthur is a hot topic. We just can't stray away from the tropical storm. Tropical storms aren't serious, true, but it seems as if it grabs a lot of people's attention, number one. And number two, depending upon the placement of the tropical storm and the speed, it could produce some flash flooding and some storm surge. However, in this case, because it's only breezing the Outer Banks, it's not really going to do too much. But don't tell other people that. I need more content, and I need people to believe that there's still a chance. If you get my drift. I've been in a Cat 4 hurricane. That was serious. True. You have to remember, there was a thing called Tropical Storm Isaac, and that led to some historic flooding in Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi way back when. So there was that, too. Tropical storms could be huge rainmakers. Not as much for wind. Streaming for about 30 minutes. 2 hours later. Yeah, exactly. I said that I was going to end the stream, and now here we are. Scared to death the wind just stop. Oh, yeah. Dude, basically, if you want to take it into perspective, I want to say this. Dorian, you guys may think of it as just, oh, it's a 180 mile per hour storm. Okay, 180 miles per hour. Take it into context. 180 miles per hour on the enhanced Fujita scale is an EF4 tornado. Now imagine an EF4 tornado with the span of probably 10 to 20, maybe 25 miles, sitting over a specific area for days. That is crazy in itself. More content, please. Also, let's build each other up. Depends. Are you a bot, Logan? That is the truth. Let's see. Yeah, Chicago's currently in flash flood warning. I said in the beginning, I said flash flooding would be an issue for you all, and you guys are kind of just like doing all. It's doing its own thing. Bunch of constant rainfall due to the slow moving trough. The entire line is just like moving at like such slow speeds at the point where it's just like it'll probably rain for quite some time. Let's see. What will Union, South Carolina get during the week? Because you're very curious. And will I be okay? Okay, so for South Carolina, you guys are going to be seeing some thunderstorms every now and then. But I will say it's nothing big, okay? It'll probably be some gusty winds and stuff like that, but it won't be like giant tornadoes and stuff like that. We won't see any severe weather threat, in my opinion, until this coming Saturday, which will be up in Nebraska and Kansas. There's like a slight risk that everyone's trying to like hype up on Thursday, but to be honest, it's just, granted, there is some potential for it to be an enhanced risk and stuff like that. It'll mainly just be for wind. You might see tornadoes, you might see hail, but there isn't really a lot of instability, if you will, to go up there. It's been a while, actually, chat, since we've seen what the hurricane hunters have said. So let's might as well take a look. They're making another dive bomb. They've crossed in and out, which, by the way, if you see any of my hurricane content, you know, with how Dorian went, literally there was just a constant cycle of me talking about Dorian, because I had like content literally every 3 hours. Obviously the thing updated, so I just cycled all the way through the entire time, because all the content that I have, or that I had, got refreshed and it was like new. So I was talking about every now and then I would come back every 15 minutes to see what the hurricane hunters said. So the hurricane hunters are obviously making another dive bomb towards the center of circulation of Arthur. There was some wind gusts that got up above 30 knots, which would be right around 35 miles per hour. But as of right now, as you guys can see based off of the infrared satellite data, there isn't really a lot of thunderstorms around the center of rotation. There's some right here, some here, and some here. But there's nothing on the southern end, or the southeastern and really southwestern quadrants. It's really just the northeastern and northwestern quadrants. And if you don't know what a quadrant is, it's basically if you were to make a T right over the center of the tropical system, they're separated into what we call quadrants. So this one up here is the northeastern quadrant. This one down here is the southeastern, you know, and then same thing. This is southwestern, and then northwestern. So when we take a look at the actual stuff, you can see there is some thunderstorms in the northwestern one. There is some in the northeastern ones, but there really isn't a lot in the southwestern, and there are some just considerable cloudiness in the southeastern, but none really that are like thunderstorms. You know what I mean? So it's just like, is there a chance for it to go west? In my opinion, it probably could, but that is if it were to make a. Let's put it this way: it could go as far west as a direct landfall on the Outer Banks. It probably will make a landfall on the Outer Banks. I've given it a 60% chance of it to make a landfall. As a matter of fact, let's just go into specifics as to the tracking of this and where I think personally this will go. So let's go towards the forecast models. Let's take a look at the what the GFS says, because the GFS when it comes to last year was the most accurate in path when it comes to tracking the actual tropical system. So it did it really well with Dorian last year. It did it with Barry really well last year. You know, so. Oh my God!
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police!
Tuck it away, your time and knowledge is worth it to us. Night.
Good Lord. Tube Weller with the $5 super chat. absolutely mental. Woof. I gotta say, I will probably tuck it away. I will probably keep it and save it. I've got a plan. I've got a plan. I've got a plan for all of the donations and money that I make, whether it's from YouTube or another job, stuff like that. Just pretty interesting. You guys will probably enjoy that. Just really scared. Want some advice? Why not to be scared? Okay, the best thing that I can say about, which by the way, Two Brother, you said you were going to bed or going away or something like that. For whatever reason, I obviously can't stop you because you do whatever you want. I'm not gonna stop anyone. Too lazy for that. So I just want to say good night. Thank you for coming out. If you think about weather like this, and you think of it this way. Every storm is basically water. Just water falling out of the sky. Wind is fast-moving rain, fast-moving water moving in one direction, falling out of the sky. Hail is frozen water, falling from the sky. Tornadoes, water spinning really fast from the sky. Hurricanes, originally created over water, and it's just a giant spinning buzzsaw. Although some aren't really a buzzsaw per se, but it's just a spinning top made out of water from the sky. If you think of it as just water falling from the sky, it's not really too scary. Because we've been in a pool before, you know, we all have. Or we've been in some sort of like water, you know, or we've even taken a shower. There's literally water falling up from above, you know? So if you think of it like that, it's not too scary. You just got to take the proper precautions as to how to deal with it. Because there could be some water that, you know, is harder than others. So just how you deal with that is all up to you. Someone said another tornado warning. Oh no, it's just the same storm. Union be okay. Yes, Union, South Carolina will be okay. I promise you, it will be okay. My honest opinion says that South Carolina won't really be impacted all too much. So, let's go back to the timing. Just timing and, you know, path and stuff like that. So, you can kind of see how it actually starts to intensify as it gets closer towards North Carolina, which is the reason why I'm saying that you guys could see, you know, 50-mile-per-hour winds. You actually might, now that I look at it, this is the same model of the GFS. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually got up. I love to overshoot things when it comes to tropical development because typically overshooting is a safe bet. 55 miles per hour, 55-mile-per-hour winds when it comes to this storm is not unreasonable. And for that reason, I'm actually like now starting to lean towards that general idea. I overshot last year and I actually got most of my stuff correct. I got Dorian's intensity perfectly when it was heading towards Puerto Rico. I also got its track perfectly too. I said it was going to go north of Puerto Rico, but just by a little bit, which it did. I also said that it was going to go towards the Bahamas, and it was going to be a Cat 3, about 200 miles to the east. Lo and behold, there it was. I thought it was going to hit Florida, and that was where I was wrong. I didn't foresee it literally stalling. But meh, it's doing its own thing. It did its own thing, and it stumped literally everyone. But it just shows you how little we know about tropical storms in general, and just tropical development. which is probably the reason why a lot of people search for answers for this. By the way, for anyone who's looking at it after the fact, allow me to give you all this knowledge. Whether you're a meteorologist or a weather enthusiast, I gotta tell you this. If you're looking for answers on tropical development, no one's really gonna have exact ones. No one's gonna be perfect. No one's typically perfect when it comes to meteorology. But you know what? Don't berate them for it, first off. Because that's typically what most of the media and most of the public do. Whenever they get something wrong, they're like, oh, it's your fault. You guys didn't see this. You know how hard this is? Not to sound petty or anything, but I'd like to see you try. And do what we do. All of it is based off of opinions and stuff like that, but some of those opinions could be quite unreasonable, which is quite the reason why most of us don't really like to go big. You know? It's gotta be supported with some sort of evidence for it to be reasonable. You could probably say, oh, this storm will be a Category 1, but we need evidence for that. And if you were to give me valid evidence as to why this could be Category 1, I wouldn't dispute it. I love to debate. I love to debate weather stuff. If you're on the server, you can probably see I like to debate. Because I have no hard feelings. I love to talk. Love to see other people's opinions. I love to admit when I'm wrong. Actually, I don't. I love to think that I'm right a lot of the time, but that's my ego. My ego typically loves to do that. When it comes to tropical development, it's very hard to get the intensity correct. Very easy to track these things. Actually, it's not very easy. It's just it's hard to track, but it's not as hard as trying to track the intensity along the way. So, it's just doing its own thing. Southeastern Maryland and Delaware is going to get hammered. Yeah, they're probably just going to get some thunderstorms and some sustained wind gusts of 30 miles per hour, in my opinion. Something like that. Let's see. How bad will the weather be in Ohio? Ohio is supposed to be seeing they're going to be under a tornado risk from tonight until tomorrow, as well as a wind risk. No hail, but it's not really a tornado risk per se. It's like a light tornado risk. So it's just like it's just doing its own little thing. Gonna be completely honest. And there goes my frog. I am now quite sad. I want it back. It is so. This thing is. I don't think you guys understand. This thing is addicting to hold onto. Because it's just like. It's so satisfying. I don't understand why it's so satisfying, but it is. It's literally just Orbeez in a freaking plastic container that's flexible. But it just feels so satisfying to play with. I'm just like, I'll just keep it around. Just like all the beauty community last year. Storm isn't going to do anything special. Yeah, okay. One thing I also want to say is that you can't use the word bust for tropical systems. You can't use... I've got two rules, all right? You can't use the word bust for tornado risk by the SPC for 5% and under. And you can't use the word bust for tropical systems whatsoever. Whether it's a Category 5 hurricane that people are predicting and it doesn't turn into a Category 5. Or whether it's a tropical storm that people are forecasting to be larger and it doesn't. You can't do that. Not to mention there are people who came on this channel and said that specific stuff were busts and stuff hit the fan. For instance, the Easter outbreak, someone said that the entire moderate was going to be a bust, and we got the Bassfield So-So tornado with 190 mile per hour winds, which, by the way, unpopular opinion, if there was more damage there, it sounds terrible, by the way, if there was more damage over there, more evidence to support the theory of it being a EF5, it probably would be an EF5. Because it was right around 200 miles per hour, in my opinion. I just feel like they didn't have enough evidence to characterize it as an EF5. It was just an EF4. EF4 damage. It's doing its own thing. Going mostly north now, not east. Oh yeah, it's going north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. Which is just doing its own thing. So it's just doing its own. It's one of those things where, who knows? I found it quite funny though. He came back after the stream, or like after the tornado, and he's like, "Well, I basically screwed everyone," and I'm like, "You sure did." Widest Mississippi tornado and third widest. Yeah, I wish I had that coverage. I was so on my game that day. Literally, if I took snippets of that stream, you know, of me actually covering that, I'm pretty sure not only would I have so many people like actually, you know, watch it, but people would probably respect me a whole lot more for how professional I can be. Now, at the same time, I don't want an entire picture being painted to where I have to be professional 24/7. As I said, I'm creating a special video for that. It'll be quite interesting. But, yeah, it's doing its own... We're just doing our own thing, and we're trying to make our way around YouTube. But yeah, as I said, some of the models are saying that it's going to kind of breeze by the coast. I tend to agree with that due to the fact that there's actually just warmer waters out here. So it's going to want to kind of be as close to the waters as possible. So, didn't David predict that tornado accurately? I don't know. I didn't pay attention to people's streams and stuff like that. All I know is that I predicted those tornadoes accurately. I had a hot zone for that area. I said there was going to be probably large and destructive tornadoes. Lo and behold, there were 3 of them. So, I want to say, you know, I was right. Check. Do I check Insta messages? I check it every now and then. My Insta is just basically my username. Hockey boy and 8. True facts, brother. I'm just kidding. No southern accents here. No accent in general. True facts. Yeah, I don't know if David did that correctly. I'm going to be quite honest. I don't really pay attention all too much to what other people say, except for as of late, I have been. Is it hitting Mississippi? No, this tropical storm is not hitting Mississippi. I don't think the Mississippi will be getting into the tropical action until much later, in my opinion. I feel like most of the tropical storms will be impacting Florida and up the coast of the east for a couple months. Probably a couple months. The Gulf won't start getting into it until late summer. That's mainly just because of how the subtropical jet is and the current weather pattern that we're in right now. You know, so it's just like, it's doing its own thing. You looked at the 7-day weather forecast that shows rain for me for the next week. Yeah, there could definitely be some stuff in general. Are you in a risk? You're in a marginal risk. But, it's not really too big. David said that the tornado was high-end EF5 with 310 mile per hour winds in his weather authority. You have to believe him because he's an advanced weather forecaster. Okay, so first off, there's been something going around. I feel like I should show this. Whether or not it's true or not, it's still hilarious. Alright? I never really agreed with his meso discussions because I felt like he outdid it most of the time. I feel like he not really overhypes his meso discussions and stuff like that. But this one took the cake. Where is it? Where is it? I need to see. There it is. This right here is probably what killed me the most. And it's been going around for centuries. Not really centuries, but it was quite funny. Where he's issuing his meso discussion, it ended up busting heavily. Okay? nothing really happened in that area whatsoever. But let's just read. Let's just, because you could have some sort of professionality and stuff like that. By the way, the reason why it busted heavily was because there was a lot of cap. All right, so like just a crap ton. Okay, this is no disrespect to David whatsoever, by the way, but it's just this. There's some highlighted parts that's been going around for generations. Granted, it's quite professional in here. Gotta say, very nice. I like it a lot. But let's just go in and take a look at all the stuff here. So, let's read it. What? Developing supercell MCS posing a risk for considerable wind damage, extreme hail, tornadoes. Where? Central Eastern Oklahoma, Southwest Missouri, Northwestern Arkansas. Discussion. It looks like convective inhibition is beginning to rapidly erode as forecasted across the discussion area, with only -25 to -95 joules per kilogram of capping inversion, or CINH, remaining in the eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas. That is true, but there was a lot more capping out in front of where the storms were actually going to be, which it wasn't really in Oklahoma. It was more Missouri. So it's just that. It was the capping inversion in Missouri was a lot more than what it said here. It's like in the -200 joules per kilogram range, something like that. It's about to leave the area as strong daytime heating and moistening of the mixed layer occurs. With that being said, 8.5 to 9.1 ground to 1 kilometer mid-level lapse rates are occurring within a very unstable atmosphere environment characterized by mixed layer CAPE numbers 5,750 to 9,250 joules per kilogram, with most unstable CAPE reaching, get this, 10,750 to 40,000 joules per kilogram throughout northern Oklahoma and southeast Kansas. Increasing wind profiles and thermodynamic profiles on SKU-T soundings are primed for very intense supercellular, which, by the way, nothing against his English or anything. It's just there are some things that are kind of wrong. Supercellular Boeing MCS structures as soon as initiation begins around 21Z based on HRRR and RAP model guidance and forecast soundings. I just want to take a second and ask you all, because I already know the answer, is 40,000 most unstable CAPE realistic? Yeah. Sauce Boss, I'm going to have to allow myself to intervene here. That is not realistic whatsoever. So, yeah. Rather robust wind shear profiles, along with storm relative helicity values of 250 to 450 M2S2, support a few tornadoes across eastern Oklahoma along this area. Oh no, it's not. I messed that up. Oh boy. Support a few tornadoes across eastern Oklahoma along with 2-inch hail and intense 105 plus mile per hour damaging winds this afternoon. Now, I'm going to have to agree with him if he shifted that northeast. There was a derecho that was going to be taking place in Illinois and Indiana. And this is the only derecho that I will recognize this year. If he said 105-mile-per-hour damaging winds over in Illinois and Indiana, I would say that's not far off. He's got a general idea. Because there were some damaging winds that breached almost 100. It ripped a grain silo from a farm, which those things, by the way, are extremely sturdy. It takes 95-mile-per-hour wind gusts to break those. Either 90 or 95, but of the sort, relatively intense wind gusts to do that. Straight line winds. Over this area specifically, in Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, boss, I'm going to have to ask you to kind of just take a break for a little bit. All right, and if anyone comes up with the excuse of, oh, he just typoed this and any of that stuff, which you can make the case with him actually adding an extra 0 in the most unstable cape or something like that. Let's put it this way. You can't add an extra 0 to 105 unless if it's 15 miles per hour winds. And if you say out loud intense 15 mile per hour damaging winds, that is probably one of the most funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life. New tornado warning for Lafayette, Louisiana. All right, I got you. As soon as I'm going to hurry this up as quickly as possible. I agree with the hail, by the way, because the lapse rates were pretty high. Now, if any semi-discrete cells develop within a 25 to 50 mile window ahead of the MCS in this area, these cells will likely acquire vigorous, violent updrafts capable of producing softball-sized, 9-inch sized hail, and a few intense, long-lived tornadoes, and catastrophic wind damage. First off, I'm pretty sure softballs aren't 9 inches. I'm pretty sure... I don't know. I just don't know. Later in the forecast period, the MCS may become more of a typical linear squall line and may not be supercellular. First off, by the way, it is supercellular. I gotta tell you all that. Another meso discussion may be needed in the next few hours. And then he says, please react with a lightning if you saw and read this discussion. As if people are obliged to do that. But I want to get back to the 9-inch sized hail part. The record for hail used to be 8 inches. I don't know specifically, but it used to be. Now it's 9.3 inches from a storm in Argentina that Penn State conducted a study on. 9-inch sized hail would need lapse rates of probably 10 or more. He himself said that it was 8.5 to 9. My brain just exploded, chat. I could kind of see the softball size hail. Because the lapse rates were that high. Yes, you probably could. But, this right here, when it comes to his outlooks, I've got no disrespect to David whatsoever. There's some things where I disagree with his tactics. But it's just... it's not a very good look, is it? It really isn't. It's kind of the reason why I don't do my own outlooks. Because if I end up putting up something that's like, you know, really questionable, people are going to probably do the exact same thing that I just did to David. And that doesn't feel nice. I mean, I said I have no disrespect to him whatsoever, but at the same time, I feel like it's just... You would say that forecast is not to be bad. To be honest, it isn't. The real thing is that if he didn't mess up some of those numbers, it actually would have been a decent forecast. The issue that I have is that he messed up some of the numbers. The wind gusts were not going to be over 105. And if you take the 0 out for there, if you say that it's just a typo and you were adding a bunch of zeros, you know, first off, the 5, if you were to just leave it as like 10, you know, if you were just to take off the 5 and say that was a typo afterwards, intense 10-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Not a good look. If you say that they just added a bunch of zeros, 15-mile-an-hour wind gusts aren't that good either. You know, so it's just like... And then if you just decide to say, oh, they just added a 1. Well, 5-mile-per-hour wind gusts aren't doing you anything better either. So it's just really one of those things where... What are you doing? What are you doing? Was saying a possible 10% chance for tornadoes next week, Oklahoma, Kansas. I was, but I'm going to have to exclude Oklahoma, and I'm going to have to put in Nebraska. It's further north than I anticipated. Possible 10% for this Saturday. Possible. It depends upon the parameters, but I did say that I said 10 days out of the actual day that there could be a 10% chance of tornadoes. There might be. I guess we're going to have to see. That was just me honestly trying to figure out, you know, all this stuff. Maybe he meant 50. You could say that, but the placement of the actual numbers, you would have to actually switch them in general. And it doesn't seem reasonable. Especially with a person of his caliber. To switch numbers. You know. It's just the way it was positioned. That's how I'm looking at it. Let's see. Yeah, this tornado warning, by the way, guys, not really too interesting. Gonna have to say. Savage shot Howard. Oh, good lord. You guys take this too seriously. David understands weather good because he told me he has a degree. David understands weather good because he told me he has a degree from Penn State and got the highest degree of mastery. I'm not sure if you are either making that up or if he actually told you it, but I'm here to inform you that that is a lie. That is blasphemy. He has made it known to his audience multiple times that he is self-taught and that he is not studying and he is not getting a degree in it yet. I'm not sure if it's yet. I don't know. So I'm here to inform you that that is blasphemy. And the thing with the Penn State thing is that, number one, he lives in California. Number two, he right now seems to be in a bit of a predicament. And number three, it just so happens that I am going to Penn State. I just got done with high school. I've already been accepted into college for Penn State. Now what sucks is my first semester of college is going to be online, which isn't really what I wanted to do. But yeah, just it is what it is. Weather apps are going to change the thunderstorms to tropics. True. We had someone, let's see, Pensacola Metro finally hearing thunder for the first time in what seems like a month. True. You guys are definitely getting some sort of issues over there. There's a special marine warning near Mobile, actually. But you guys are just having a whale of a time over there, aren't you? Just a 10-year-old kid, very scared of storms. Just remember, just think of what I told you, okay? If you just think of that, trust me. If you say that whenever the stuff passes by, then you'll basically be you'll be fine. Trust me. Just think of it all as water falling from the sky, and you'll be completely fine. Trust me. I know that because I have family who live in Cadobra. They're being swamped with hail the size of softballs. According to that, yeah, that's true. It is what it is. Yeah, I agree. GFS is always accurate. Depends. When it comes to wind trends, yes, it is. It is relatively accurate. When it comes to predicting the path of tropical systems, for the most part, it is accurate. You know, it's just doing its own thing. Is that near Lafayette? This is near Lafayette. Lafayette is actually the outskirts of Lafayette's under a tornado warning, but when it comes to the actual strength of the tornado warning, I believe that the rotation has died off significantly. So, granted, there still is some there. It looks to be kind of dying out a bit. So I just want to say that. Let's see. Tropical Storm Arthur is making landfall really soon. It's raining in North Carolina right now from it. Yeah, it is raining right now from it, but it'll probably make landfall midday Monday. Eastern time. Big thing right there, because there are a bunch of people who are in Central. I haven't met a person from Mountain, and there are some in California. Bunch of different stuff that I actually want to try and do, you know, to appeal all audiences, you know, from different areas. But you know what? It is what it is. Let's see. See you later, home to Mayrose Day. I'll see you later. 120 knot shear. What? What do you mean 120 knot shear? What? GFS is the most accurate model only because this 2-meter temps and dew points. I think there will be severe weather every day after the 25th because of the strong level jet with 120 knot shear in the Midwestern plains. Oh, that's what you get with 120 knot shear. I haven't seen anything when it comes to the shear getting that high. I would have designated a specific area as a tornado outbreak if I saw that, but I just didn't see anything there. I thought the troughing was quite pitiful, and I thought there wasn't enough forcing in the upper level winds to sustain themselves. Lower level shear is quite nice, though, I gotta say. Which is the reason why low level jet's gonna be a thing for most of these storms. If the GFS is always accurate, I have 5 Sandys, 15 blizzards, and over 200 inches of snow in the last year. Okay, here's the thing about every single model. They can't forecast snow. The GFS has a cold bias. The Euro model has a northeast bias. The CFS is the CFS. And then there's some other stuff. It's just doing its own thing. You're in Montana, so you're mountain. We've got one Mountain Daylight Time person. You've probably been in the stream for quite some time. You know, been a follower of my community for quite some time, and I didn't even realize that I had someone from Mountain Daylight Time. If you were here prior to not really a month ago, we had a Mountain Daylight Time person before a Pacific Daylight Time person. Actually, it may not even be a month ago. It may just be like 3 weeks ago. Which, if that's the case, then that's amazing. We had a trace in Richmond, Virginia, which is the lowest snow total in the winter season. Lows this year for the Mid-Atlantic was terrible. We only had 2 inches of recorded snow in my place, and we're supposed to get like 18. So, it's just... doing its own thing. Is there an AST person? What do you mean? Oh, I understand. If that's Hawaiian time zone, then yes, there has been. Isn't it supposed to be raining in Lafayette? It's going to be in a couple of seconds, trust me. It's going to. I've never seen this footage out of Argentina from 2 years ago. Gonna post this. First hailstone fall looks bigger than 5 inches. If that's the storm that I think you're talking about, it produced 9.3 inches of inch-sized hail the one time. There's a 45% chance for tornadoes tomorrow in the Carolinas. Okay. It's time to stop. No, there will not. Oh, it's like East Maine? Oh, well then, I don't know. If it's like all the way up, then probably not. I only had someone from like Portland, stuff like that. 15% for Wednesday, and I think it could possibly be an enhanced or moderate. David also agrees that a high risk is possible if the line sells segments along the line. EF4 possible. Okay. I've had enough of people talking about Thursday as being a big event that I'm half tempted just to create another thing for it. To just create another outlook on my server. Because a lot of people love to hype up these events. Alright? There's no disrespect whatsoever to the people who believe that this stuff is going to be good, but I think enhanced is the max that it will go. Let's go on to the GFS and see the forcing, because the only thing that the GFS is consistent about is wind shear patterns. Just wind patterns in general. Let's take a look at Thursday. Thursday, really nice shear. Very nice. I'm actually quite surprised. Friday is really nice shear too. My goodness. Thursday, pretty decent shear. Actually, what day is day 4? I'm going to be completely honest. I have no clue. Wednesday to Thursday. So pretty nice shear from the Wednesday into Thursday. As a matter of fact, pretty nice shear, gotta say. You know, usually when it gets up to 70 knots, it's pretty nice. It's really nice. Let's take a look at the lower level shear. It's okay. 30 knots. Pretty good. I mean, it's the decent thing that you can get. But this is where it gets tricky. Surface-based cape. There are some that is over 2,000 joules per kilogram, which is kind of enough. But let's take a look at the direction of the winds and the wind crossovers. Look at the hodograph. I'm going to try and zoom into the hodograph as best as I can. Do you guys notice how it's not, you know, curling? It's staying pretty consistent. Let's take a look at the wind barbs. Notice how it all stays practically the same. The wind speed and the direction does not change whatsoever, and that means that the tornadoes are probably not going to be a thing unless if it's embedded within a QLCS, which, as I said, QLCS typically creates those. Which is the only reason why I could see a 5%, maybe even a 10% with this, maybe. But I'm more inclined to believe the 5% due to the fact that there isn't enough to boost it. I think 5% is reasonable for it. I think it's raining now in Lafayette. Yep, it's definitely raining in Lafayette. So it's not strong enough, and it doesn't have the correct stuff to make it do things. One thing I will say, lapse rates are around 8, which is kind of nice. So this could be a wind and hail threat, but tornadoes probably not as much. Yeah, but David said you have all the numbers up by 100 and over 500 on the soundings, and it's accurate that way. So that is why he says high risk 30% hatch tornadoes. What? let me process this real quick. Let me process it. All right. By the way, I want nobody to interpret this as hate on David Schlotthauer. Once again, I love debating. No one's right and no one is wrong here because everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So don't bash other people for having their opinion. In my opinion, just by looking at it, I think high risk is unreasonable. But give me a second. Have to up all numbers by 100. What do you mean by that? Do you mean by shear? Because the shear I just pointed out is not at 100. Higher weather direct? That's not even his channel. It's direct weather. I'm not saying that you're trolling at all, and if other people are saying they're trolling, then what all did you expect? %, hatch tornadoes in Montana and Dakotas. Oh boy. You can get shear up. All right, let's put it this way. Say there was wind shear up to 100 knots. Let's just say, hypothetically, there could be. Hypothetically, let's just say there's 100 knot shear across the board. Upper level, lower level. Although upper level would probably be faster, so let's just say 120 knots. Okay. If you don't have the winds in a specific direction, you can't create tornadoes or any cells whatsoever besides straight line winds. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the GFS again. Let's take a look. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at just preset. We'll get a sounding out in front of this thing. Okay? So let's get a sounding out in front of the trough. The winds are not moving in a direction to where it could create tornadoes. Now, you can make the case here that it slightly is, but slight isn't really going to do a lot. Especially with the forcing that it has right now. The forcing will just run right over that completely. So right there shows you that the winds are not even, they're just basically the same. Okay? How long do I think it's going to rain in Lafayette? Give me a second. Storm motion for warning. Storm track here. Another 20 minutes. Something like that. Anyways, let's go back to the hypotheticals now. You could theoretically get something off of a QLCS. But if you don't have that directional wind shear in different areas, it basically renders it useless. Let's take a look at Nebraska. I want to see this. There's a lot of capping in Nebraska, which is probably the reason why not anything is going to happen over there. So basically, David is just overreacting. I mean, when it comes to the high risk, yes. If it's a high risk, yes. And people can quote me here. High risk, yes. I think at maximum it will get up to enhanced. So. Direct weather is I provide accurate forecasts. Seems legit. Gotta go. Bye. All right. See you, Jackson. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Because of the tornado warnings? Yeah, and just me getting carried away. Part of me... A part of me wants to stay up for another 49 minutes just to wait for the next Arthur outlook. And I dropped my frog again. Where is it? There it is. First time I'm seeing the satellite image for the 9-inch hailstone in Argentina. It's really the most impressive images I have ever seen. Exclamation point woof. That's what I have to say. Oh boy. Stay up and wait. You'll like the vid. Well, actually, a part of me is saying that you've already liked the vid. So the real threat is you'll dislike it if I don't stay up. Adrian Crid's actually a really good forecaster. I think he could work at the SPC and be accurate. I think he's got potential. It's a little too far to say he can work at the SPC and be accurate, but I like him. I like him a lot. I know someone else asked about Adrian's weather forecast and whether or not I know him. I don't know him personally. I'm not sure if he's in my Discord server or whatnot, but I think he's actually he's got potential. Not as much potential as another kid that I have handpicked myself, who was from YouTube. He knows who he is. I think he's got a lot of potential. More potential than anyone I've seen at his age. So I could probably help him out with his future endeavors. Because I feel like he's got potential not only on YouTube, but in the weather community if he keeps up with it. If he thinks that the weather is his thing, I fully recommend that he should do it. I do enjoy watching his content, too, every now and then. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. Oh, we should just make sure this thing doesn't try to re-strengthen right over Lafayette. True, that's the reason why I've got it looked over right now. It's just doing its own thing. Can you show the images? You missed it? I didn't have it. I don't have those images. Unless if you're talking about Arthur, we can talk about Arthur right now. Which, by the way, I do want to check. We haven't done it in quite some time. Let's see what the aircraft recon has seen. They saw more gusty winds over 30 knots. Interesting. How would you know who is qualified to work at the SPC when you haven't even studied weather at university? I mean, you do have a fair point. For myself, I've just been... It sounds stupid because I shame everyone else for being self-taught, but so far I've been self-taught, but I haven't really had the opportunity to study meteorology professionally. Mainly because, A, meteorology wasn't offered as a class in my state. West Virginia was my state, by the way. Now I'm in Pennsylvania. Number 2, I just graduated high school, so now I am able to basically study it professionally. So I guess I'll be able to see myself as to how it all functions. And I guess there really isn't a 3. I guess that's just basically it. Let's see. Nathan Pecos, Hank, the best. Thank you, Adam. I really do appreciate it. I love Pecos too. Alter is king. Alter is nice. I love Alter. Alter is nice. I love the man. The man knows his crap. And for that reason, I love him for it. He's the one person that's actually realistic when I talk to him about weather. It sounds terrible, but it's true. I actually like him. Let's see. I personally think Adrian's better forecast than that Alter guy from Storm Central. So that's the reason why people were bringing up his name. Alter is probably one of the best forecasters I've ever seen in my entire life. Greg Forbes versus James Spann and Pecos Hank versus Brett Adair. Greg Forbes is the one. Greg Forbes is it. He is the guy. He is the person that I absolutely love the most. By the way, that's a fake Pecos Hank. I just want you all to know the real Pecos wouldn't be able to come in here and just say, just stuff like that. But anyways, and then Pecos is the best out of those two. Brenadare is pretty cool though, gotta say. My man Brett's chill. Oh, it's coming down in buckets. Yeah, Lafayette's currently getting a bunch of stuff. They're out of the tornado warning, I will say. I don't think they're going to be in any sort of tornadic activity either. Pakistan's videos of the tornadoes are very cinematic. As a graduated communication minor, I can observe that the editing is as smooth as you can get to chase. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Tornado in Sorrento, Louisiana. What? Here? Nani? Copy my maps. Lamau. I don't know anymore. Sweat so much and feeling of being hot in the room after taking a shower makes me all sticky. Yep. True facts right there. I hate the heat. I'd rather be cold than be warm. Oh, let's see. Ask dumb questions to my fans and give them a chance to get in my video. Lamau. Greg Forbes is kind of annoying because he overhypes Touricon numbers so the Weather Channel gets views. But that is my personal opinion on the matter. He also doesn't support climate change. I mean, he supports Greg Forbes supports climate change to an extent. Not to mention the Touricon was adapted by the not the National Weather Service, adapted by the Weather Channel after he started it. Once the Weather Channel had influence in it, it was lost. It was already lost from the beginning. I also think the Touricon is also just overhyped in general. But the reason why Greg is better than Span, and this is kind of a bias because he is my inspiration to doing all this, but he knows his stuff. I'm going to be completely honest. The reason why Span exists with the name that he does have is because of 2011. During that day. Greg has been there for all of it. All of it. He was there for 2011. Both times. He was there for 2013. El Reno. More. He's been there for all the big boys. Whenever he was on the Weather Channel, he knows his stuff. And that right there is unrivaled. I will never be able to live up to the standards of him. And I don't think anyone ever will. I can only try to be him. That's how I derive my personality from him. The way I talk, the way I analyze, it's always fast-paced, straight to the point, and informational. Like him. And no one can take the rank or the crown off his head ever as a severe weather analyst. If only 2013 wasn't the last year that the Weather Channel was relevant. Then several other weather outbreaks. True, but those were localized to Alabama. Let's put it this way. I get the point in how Span saved so many lives. Span knew his stuff in weather, but if you put anyone else in his position with the knowledge that most other above average TV stars had, they probably would have been in his shoes too, and they would have had household names themselves. My point being is that because he was so localized, and this is no disrespect to him whatsoever, because he is still the top tier. He's with Greg Forbes as a top tier person. For argument's sake, if you put someone else in his position,
Here we go.
oh my god. Jeez, scared the crap out of me. Coral, thank you for the subscription. I really do appreciate it. God, I haven't heard that in a while. Every single time it happens, it just surprises me. But anyways, if you put anyone else in James Span's position, including Greg Forbes, they would have a household name. My point here is that Greg does it on a larger scale, and he does it accurately, has more tech, and knows a bit more. Hope Sandine, thank you for the subscription. You didn't scare me that time, but thank you, Hope Sandine, for the subscription. I really do appreciate it. I'm just speaking my thoughts. There is no disrespect whatsoever, because both of them are top tier. Both of them are top tier. Like, you can't get better than either one. I'm actually honestly surprised that I didn't get scared from that last subscription. But thank you, Coral and Hope. Thank you for the subscription. I really do appreciate it. Interesting revelation here, chat. I do want to say there are now some thunderstorms that are over 45 knots. This is extremely interesting. And the reason why I say that is with the recent hurricane hunters, with them saying what all is happening here, is that some of these thunderstorms are now starting to swirl into the center, the area of rotation. The center low pressure, or the eye, as people typically say. If it can swirl those thunderstorms towards the center of rotation, this thing could quite possibly be upped from a 45 mile per hour tropical storm to a 50 mile per hour tropical storm. Maybe even more. It'll probably be 50 for the most part. Probably will be. Let's take a look at the soundings, because I'm really curious as to what all happens here. Okay, so this, by the way, is contamination. So the one thing I learned is that whenever the rain rate goes up with the surface wind, it's contaminated. Okay, so what this is looking at is the surface winds and the rain rate. And whenever the rain increases exponentially with the surface winds, it means it's contaminated. So that's the one thing I learned so far this year. All right, I'm still learning with all of these soundings, and I'll be able to teach you all as I continue to do more research. I haven't been doing as much research lately due to the fact that I still am... I'm getting out of my break of the weather. Before, I used to be doing severe weather like just basically almost 24/7, and I was doing it at an exceptional rate. Now, since we're kind of in the point where we're starting to transition, but it's like that middle line right there where it's both, it's just doing its own thing. Let's see. Farkle, what's up? Yep, to all the people, by the way, who have liked, commented, subscribed, all that such, I just want to say, I wouldn't be here without you guys, so, you know, to all the people who do that, I just want to say thank you. Any severe weather for Angola, Indiana tonight, or is the threat more south? No, you guys are going to get severe weather. you guys are probably going to get some gusty winds. It probably won't be to the large scale of back in early April, but it will definitely have some sort of potential. So yeah, this is starting to tell me that this is going above 35 knots at the surface, which is up and around. Oh, this is at 215Z. So this is behind about 15 minutes. So we're still waiting for that sounding to update. But as soon as that does update, I'm really curious to see what all they're finding. But now they're making a turn. So now they're going for the center of the center of circulation again. They're going for the eye. So usually when they make that steep turn, that tells you that they're going to dive bomb again into the center of rotation. And just by taking a look in general, you guys can see the track of how they were doing this. So they actually came into the actual storm, and they went up, went through the actual storm, and then made a turn to the east, and then made a turn south, turn to the west, I should say, and then went south, southeast all the way through the cell, and now they're making a turn to the north, and then a turn to the south and west. The typical crossing pattern that they make. So, what I'm guessing what they're going to do after that is because there's more cloud structure over here, they're probably going to either return to base after that, or they're going to go up and cross again. But it's definitely one of those things where they're experiencing more thunderstorms around the center of rotation, and they could possibly be getting some higher readings that could indicate that Tropical Storm Arthur could be, instead of a 45 mile per hour storm, it could be a 50 mile per hour storm. So with the next outlook in 32 minutes, which is actually at 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, I guess we will try and find out. And that's when the stream will end. After we get that outlook and we take a look at what all stuff is happening, then we will end the stream. I'll open it up to questions as I've been opening it up for the entire evening. By the way, I don't want you guys to feel like you're trapped, behind the screen and that you just have to hear me ramble and I talk about whatever I want. Obviously, I do talk about whatever I want, but I also love to engage with you all. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be sure to answer it. As most streamers don't do. That's the one thing that I love doing, and I feel like some streamers are missing out. I love engaging with you all, so if you guys have any questions, I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. And yeah, so let's take a look at the latest. Actually, I've got an idea. Instead of that, we're going to take a look at the satellite imagery just to see what on infrared it's doing right now. So the interesting thing is that the hurricane hunters went through this thunderstorm right here, which actually is just kind of residing a bit. It probably was a bit more intense south of the area of rotation, but it isn't it's a part of the bands. So it's going to eventually wrap around the center area of rotation eventually. But the thing is, because it's a bit, it's the middle of the night, daytime heating isn't really a thing, and there's a lot of cooler temperatures around. So as it continues to move on to tomorrow, it'll probably spike in heating again, and it'll move very close to the Outer Banks. If not, make direct landfall with the edge of the Outer Banks. I don't know my geography when it comes to North Carolina, so I apologize for the people who may know and get upset. But it'll just hit the furthest easternmost part, or at least closest to the furthest easternmost part of the Outer Banks. So it's one of those things where, this thing, granted, it's a tropical storm. You still could have impacts like storm surge, some slight storm surge, some rain up to 5 inches. I'll say 5 inches because give or take, it was 4 inches prior. But we'll say give or take 5 inches. It looks like it's right in the middle. Localized flooding won't be that much of an issue, and gusty winds, even sustained winds of probably 50 to 55 miles per hour. I am actually now thinking that it might even be 60 in some spots. If it can wrap around those thunderstorms and still sustain it, probably, let's see. The thing about the quadrant right now is that that's the center. Yeah, so that's the quadrant right now. If it can sustain those thunderstorms on the northwestern quadrant, You could see some real gusty winds along the coast here. That would definitely be really interesting. Looks like it's extremely skewed to the northeast. Yeah, it is. It also has absolutely no thunderstorms in the southwest whatsoever. But it typically doesn't have a lot of stuff here. Give me a second. Do I have that picture somewhere? There it is. So here is a picture that I found that I thought was quite interesting. Okay, so this is a kind of a model of how hurricanes kind of function. So when it comes to thunderstorms, stuff like that, all right? This is all infrared, by the way. There's typically thunderstorms in the northwest and the southeast, all right? You know, because they kind of get the spiral as it continues to move in. There isn't really a lot in the southwest, which is kind of typical, all right? But then as it wraps around, you kind of see that once you get into the smaller quadrants, you get thunderstorms in the northeast, southwest. My issue here is that there isn't anything from the southwest. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. There isn't supposed to be a lot of stuff in the southeast because that's a part of the band and how the band just wraps in. But there just isn't really there's supposed to be something in the southwest, and there isn't. And that's what I'm concerned about when it comes to its integrity. So, why does it look like Mickey Mouse? I don't know. The imagination just kind of does its own thing. So that's the reason why, I'm kind of just like skeptical. But at the same time, it's definitely starting to wrap around more clouds and have more thunderstorms around. So by the time tomorrow morning comes around, it'll definitely intensify a bit before getting into the Outer Banks, and then intensify even afterwards. Maybe intensify a little bit, but then it'll weaken off as it curls out to shore. You think that this will become at least a Category 1? No, I do not believe so. Mainly because of the sea surface temperatures being around 26 degrees Celsius, which is unfavorable for increased development. Do I think North Carolina is in serious danger? If you were out in the water, yeah. Those rip currents are a big issue. But I don't believe they're in serious danger, per se. I don't feel like there's going to be a massive flooding threat like tropical storms typically bring. I feel like storm surge will be kind of an issue, but not really too much. Ties into that flooding. Rain, not too much. Winds will probably be the most to worry about, in my honest opinion, as well as rip currents. Rip currents is a big issue all across the coast. So they're not in serious danger, but I highly recommend you don't go out in the water. You feel from the 27th to the 30th for severe weather? There actually is a potential. There could be something on the 31st, but that's extremely far out to say. So don't take my word for it. Next live stream Saturday or earlier. If Arthur tends to get closer to the coast, I'm streaming tomorrow. Yep, goldfish snacks are back. Yeah, I'll be live streaming tomorrow for the impacts of the coast. I typically do that for all storms in general. There could be some sort of risk whatsoever, so I just want to make sure that people are informed, especially since people are still going to be impacted no matter what. What happens if rip currents die? It's like a shower thought right there. You're sitting in the shower, you're just like, why is the sky blue? And, you know, what happens if rip currents die? Can rip currents die? What are rip currents actually ripping? You know what I mean? It's just doing its own thing. You might subscribe. Well, I mean, I can't force you to subscribe. That's purely your opinion, but I'd welcome you to the community that is my channel. Most of the people on here are accepting. I feel like everyone is, but there are some trolls out there that just love to start drama. So, it is what it is. 9+ hailstone, that's a big time record. Yeah, indeed. Big record. Argentina with that one. Arthur will continue north and hit southeastern Delaware and go sharp east. Or southern New Jersey is your opinion. Okay, let's go into the reason why the models are saying that it's not going to go up there. Alright. Let's go into the winds. 50 millibars show that it's... Oh, wait, give me a second. Interesting. Now I'm curious. Why is it? Okay, I understand why it's going. So, you see this kind of dip right here? Yeah, that's the sea surface temperatures. It's going to try and reside in the sea surface temperatures as much as possible. Which means that these sea surface temperatures over here, it's not going to want to go over there. It's going to want to go this way, mainly because that's where the warmest waters are. So, and it'll try and follow along that path. Now, the only issue there is that, as you all will see, afterwards, there's a bit of wind shear that kind of... Oh my god, I can't talk. It kind of encounters a lot of wind shear after that, as you can see. So, not really much that it can do after that, but it'll just try and do a loop-de-loop and then dissipate completely. So that's the reason why. When do I think it will start dying? It won't per se start dying. Let's put it this way. It won't become a threat after Monday evening. When it comes to rain and stuff. Rip currents, it will always continue to be a threat until the end of the week. Debris in Louisiana supercell was lofted over 10,000 feet because that was a low top supercell that could be extremely bad. Yeah, I agree. Especially since the updrafts would have been insane on that thing. My frog. I hit my mic because I lost my frog for a bit. So the L front doesn't matter. Not really. Not really. It just kind of does its own thing. There really isn't anything impeding it when it comes to wind shear. Actually, I'm curious to see the moisture. 2 points. Yeah, it's a lot more moist out if it goes out into the Atlantic, which is the reason why it's probably just going to just go around. It's probably going to curl because of that moisture. Say quarrel instead of argument because I'm smart. I mean, it sounds like something that you're saying off of England or like some sort of like medieval times stuff. Do you think that a tornado outbreak in this tropical storm will happen? No, I do not believe so. Mainly because the winds won't get that high. The winds aren't going to get that high. You could see a couple tornado warnings every now and then, which is kind of the reason why if it gets closer to North Carolina, I'm probably going to stream. That's why I mentioned that you could get some sort of risks. But I guess we'll find out. It's going to clip southern Delaware. Some thunderstorms will, but not directly impact. Probably won't get some big stuff. Hit the Chesapeake Bay is possible. Okay. First thing that I want to say is that if a hurricane ever goes up the Chesapeake Bay, that will cause massive damage. Massive damage to whatever is impacted. Alright? Norfolk is like the second most susceptible to flooding. So that in itself, Norfolk will probably get massively impacted. But even then, if you go in, just continue to look up, it'll be crazy. Just like DC, Baltimore, Richmond. Crazy. Let's see. Did you know I watched the entire James Spann 2011 coverage video? Stayed up all night. I actually watched that prior to the Easter outbreak and afterwards. I watched that. How's the weather up in Indiana? Indiana is you guys are just gonna see some gusty winds. Gusty winds, in my opinion. Maybe a chance for a tornado, but otherwise just gusty winds. Nate, search tornado on Twitter. Look at the first video that pops up. Craziness from 10 hours ago. If it's that thing in Illinois, it's not really too crazy. I kind of disputed whether or not I was on the ground until they showed me a better video. Tornado? Let's see. Okay, that's crazy. Oh my god. The real question is, why did he stay still? Why did he stand still? That's an old video. Yeah, this right here. People were saying tornado on the ground, but I said it was a funnel. This picture specifically. This is the high res funnel. If I were to actually... Oh god, I can't zoom in. That's unfortunate. Anyways. Tornado threat. Time to watch some Netflix. Last Kingdom new series. Yep, see you, Shrobedo. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. You think that was 7/28/16 there was a tornado in GTA 5. Wasn't near your house in GTA 5. It was just somewhere in the Vinewood Hills. You have the tornado mod? Tornado mod's quite nice on that. 15 minutes until the next update. Me just trying to entertain myself. This is kind of interesting though, because this shows me how the progression of Arthur. What I'm seeing here is that it's trying to wrap this band around, and it actually produced thunderstorms on the northwestern quadrant. It went from the northeastern to northwestern. If it wraps around thunderstorms like it was doing, that would be really interesting. I want to see Cyclone and Fen, because this thing is just mental. And then it went through an eye wall replacement cycle. Huh. So it had an eye, and then it went through an eye wall replacement cycle. Nice. Very nice. Well, anyways. Royal NYR, welcome back, welcome back. Bye, we'll subscribe to you. See you later. See you, Super Yoshi. Thanks for coming out. Why have you not gotten off stream, Nate? You need rest, my man. I'm gonna rest until, well, I'm gonna rest after the next update for Arthur comes out. I love how I said I was going to end the stream at 8. And we've been streaming for 3 hours and 40 minutes. So, I mean, wasn't planning on doing this for this long, but I just did. I don't know why, but I did. Alright, it's making another dive bomb. I want to see... Okay, so the wind speeds actually got up to like 38 knots, which is right around 45 miles per hour. Which means it stayed pretty consistent. It probably is still a 45 mile per hour storm. In my honest opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to increase it though, I gotta say. Let's see, aircraft pressure and altitude. So that's the altitude right there. The pressure... Can't see much. Let's see. Flight level wind. Flight level temperature dew point. Oh, okay. So it kind of dipped. I'm assuming that's when they went to the actual eye. What do you think about the next update about Arthur will be about? I think it will probably retain the 45 mile per hour winds. It's really just going to talk about where it is specifically in the forecast for it. 9 models are saying Amphan could reach 180 knots, which would break records. Yeah, that sounds about right. Amphan right now, as I said, is having a whale of a time. Yeah, it's just honestly doing its own thing. I honestly can't wait. Ooh, it went through the eye again. It just went through the eye. It'll probably circle the eye just to get an accurate reading for the lowest temperature, the lowest pressure. Reed would love to be in the Bay of Bengal. Lamau. Kind of interesting. Oh, we got a drop sounding. Oh my. Let's see. Contained its humidity. By the way, I'm still learning this. I'll explain it to you guys whenever I can, but I'm still learning this. Okay, so the eye is pretty calm. Lit. Ooh, drop number 4. So this is the band. This is the band. How many large hurricanes do you predict will happen this year? I predicted like major hurricanes Like category 3 and above, I predicted 2 to 4. 2 to 4. I feel like the opportunity for that is pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, gotta say. I've got no clue where the second drop is. North. I see. Did lawn chairs go trending? Nope, it didn't. So I don't have to do a 48-hour live stream on the top of my roof. Thank the Lord for that. Take a look at the latest intensity. 2210. ADT hasn't updated recently. I mean, it was within 20 minutes of the last two, but... I tend to have a bias, by the way, towards the SatCon. So with the SatCon saying that it's higher than most stuff, I would say it's probably safe to say it's going to retain its 45 mile per hour status, if not be downgraded. But I think 45 is pretty nice. With what the Hurricane Hunters found, I felt like 45 is going to be retained within this next advisory. So all there is to do is wait. Do you want to get out of the way that there is tropical storm warnings? Oh, my goldfish. Thank you. Waves could get highest of 1 to 3. That's a ratio, I believe. Interesting. I want to see. I'm curious. Oh, wow. The National Hurricane Center is actually expecting 55 mile per hour storm. He sees vary greatly in each quadrant. Radii in nautical miles are the largest radii expected anywhere in that quadrant. Interesting. Do you think anything can happen on the 24th and 25th? When the heck is that? Oh. Yeah, there's a possibility. I was looking at something after that just because the 23rd was my day that I was forecasting for. By the way, I still, I'm not retracting my statement of the possibility of 10% chance for tornadoes on a Saturday. The possibility. Keyword possibility. I said it 4 days ago, something like that. And most people would say it's outrageous to forecast something like that a week and a half out. but I felt like probably has a good chance of doing so. It just honestly depends upon the setup. 5% is given. Can a hurricane eye wall get intense enough to produce hail? No. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there isn't really an updraft to sustain it. I mean, yeah, there is, but there isn't at the same time. I can't keep the rain lofted high enough for it, unless if the winds were strong enough to continuously whirl it around and it didn't touch the ground. But you did winds like in excess of like hell. A model is showing Arthur going to Europe. I mean, it could potentially. After it goes through this little loop-de-loop here, probably could. Update! I don't know what it's doing. Okay. So the pressure is down to about 1,004 millibars, which tells me that it's either trying to recycle or they're not doing it in the right place. There we go. Latest update. 11 p.m. Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft finds that Arthur has changed little as it approaches the North Carolina coast. It's moving north-northeast at 10 miles per hour, which is kind of interesting. It's starting to take its acceleration phase. Minimum pressure 1,003 millibars. Maximum sustained winds retains its 45 miles per hour state. So it kind of just tells me that because it's night, it's not doing anything. So look for it to intensify tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning into tomorrow evening, that's when it will, well, tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. For all the people who bullied me about my father coming into the room and saying stuff about my chinchillas and stuff like that, that alarm is set for my chinchillas at 11 o'clock every night. So, there's that much. By the way, you weren't bullying me. It was just like, word. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Sellout moment. If you guys liked the content, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to see more of the stuff live, because I technically live stream the entire time. There's going to be some videos in the future that I'm going to be editing and posting. So, if you guys want to see that, it's basically an experiment that I'm doing, and it's going to be different from any other weather channel. So if you guys excited for that, please be sure to hit the bell. Let's see. Share the video if you want, people to enjoy the type of content with you, stuff like that. Just sharing the video. I understand if it's weather. You know, as I say every stream, you know, people might think you're strange for sharing weather content and stuff like that, but other than that, well, not. You can share it with other people. I can understand though if you don't. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Love to talk to you guys. You guys have any questions or concerns or just comments in general? Think the stream's cool? Leave a comment. If you think that I'm an idiot, leave a comment. You know, if you want to put down what you had for breakfast yesterday, leave a comment. You know, love to talk to you all. So, with that being said, no, I will not show my chinchillas for today. My chinchillas are probably going to enjoy themselves in their cage for now. That's gonna be it for me as I continue to drop my frog. That's my name's Nate. You guys haven't met me before. The N and the 8 in the end, say it really fast, spells Nate. I'll see you guys possibly tomorrow for weather live stream. So with that, we shall end it with satellite imagery. Oogly boogly. End it on that note. Goodbye! Now I gotta end the stream. My ears, oh my god.